Mic check, 1, 2, mic check, 1, 2. Hello, developers. Welcome to Portfoliocon 2021, day 2. Yesterday, we went through 33 real-life developer portfolios. Not just web development, not just junior portfolios, all experiences, various categories of development. What a great selection. Thank you so much for tuning in yesterday. Had a great time, gave away some prizes. The chat did get a little savage at times. We had to regulate. Thankfully, our mod extraordinaire, Paradoodly Doo, was holding it down in the chat. We got to give out some good prizes. Today, we're going to give away some prizes too. And for this one, developers, I'm going to reward my early birds. It's 12:01 in the Central Standard Time Zone. Let's give away a prize. The prize right now I'm giving away is one copy of RealToughCandy.io's Portfolio Surgery, making your portfolio pop, revamp tired projects, and build an unforgettable portfolio. This course is going to show you 5 proven methods for completely transforming your portfolio projects. If this is something you're interested in, if you want to snub your competition, be just blast out of the gate with your portfolio, especially your projects, specifically those projects, put an 8 in the comments now, one time, just once. Don't disqualify yourself. Just put it in once. Put in the number 8 to qualify for a free copy of this regular price, $79.99. Yours today for free. Just part of the fun and games here on the Real Tough Candy YouTube channel. We are going to be reviewing, I'll give you guys, I know there's a lag on this video, so I will give you a few seconds to get caught up with that. And then we're going to dive into the portfolios. We're going to do not as many as yesterday because we still have another day tomorrow to go through some more portfolios. So we're going to start today with Abhinava's, and then we're going to wrap up right around in the late 50s here. And then tomorrow we'll crank out the 60s. And there is one other person who left their link on my YouTube community post. If you want to post that again or email me, realtoughcandy@gmail.com, I can't see it on my community tab. I have no idea because I swore it was there before, but I don't see your link. So, I'm sorry I forgot your name. But I did notice you're like, is this the place to submit our portfolios? It is. I don't know where the link is. So please send that to me and I will get it on the list here and we'll go over it tomorrow if you're still interested. So who's the lucky winner of this prize? What's up, developers? Okay. Let's go to this viewer activity. All right. You all know from yesterday that when I do these contests, they're very lo-fi. I just kind of like point my finger and hope that it lands on a number. So I'm going to do this right now. I'm just going to go like this and I'm going to look and I'm going to say, Hayden Tamming, you are the lucky winner of Portfolio Surgery. Good job. If you'd like to, please send your email to me right now, or please write me an email so I can get you hooked up with that coupon code for a free copy of Portfolio Surgery. Email me at realtoughcandy@gmail.com. Again, our winner this afternoon, Hayden Tamming. Congrats. The copy is yours. If you did not win and you're interested in what this course is all about, Paradoodly Doo is going to pop that link in. We have special Portfoliocon pricing starting yesterday, going into today, and ending tomorrow. It's a 3-day flash sale. This course, I have sold copies of this and other courses on here for $79.99. It's now $9.99. That's how I'm doing it for Portfoliocon, to make this such a special event and to give people that Udemy pricing to get hooked up with this course. Lots of enrollments yesterday. Great to see that people are taking advantage of this course. Somebody, as I mentioned yesterday, just recently left some feedback. They said if they could give it 6 stars, they would. So check the description box for the coupon code. I think it's Portfoliocon 21, but to completely be sure, just copy and paste it. And at checkout, once you click this button right here, at checkout, there's a little coupon code placement area. Stick that code in there and you will get that discount. You can get this course for $9.99. I just spilled my kombucha. Can you hold on 1 minute? Okay, that was bad. Hold on. I'll be right back. Paradoodly Doo, play some elevator music. This is awkward. Oh. that sucked. I'll be right there, developers. Okay, I'm back. Here's a pro tip. Try not to spill red liquid on new carpet. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. All right, that was an epic fail. Anyways, where were we? Let's review some freaking portfolios. To give a recap, for those of you who were not here yesterday, basically we went through 33 portfolios. We saw some patterns in these portfolios. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, this is one of the places where, one of the few, where you can actually see real people's portfolios all in one place. This might be the biggest collection. And this is, if you want to follow along today, this link is also in the description box of this video. If you want to check out people from all around the world, how they're doing portfolios, maybe you want to compare your portfolio to theirs, see what you're doing, see what you can do different, get some inspiration, get some ideas. That event, that kombucha event really put me over the edge, developers. I'm sorry. Check out that link if you want to follow along. So, without further ado, let's go into number 34, Abhinava. Let's see what's going on with Abhinava. Abhinava, about me, CS undergrad, Android dev, web dev, and competitive coding. I like this video in the background. It was fast to load. This entire portfolio is very smooth and very silky. What I like about it is that there are plenty of areas to get to learn more about you without bogging me down. So if we go back up here, it starts out with where's feature 1? Freelance software developer. I work with all kinds of modern Java, Android, and JavaScript applications. I help designers, small agencies, and businesses bring their ideas to life. Powered by a plethora of modern technologies and some coffee, I turn your requirements into attractive and convenient software on time and on budget. Now, as we went over yesterday, some of the things that I point out are very minute and almost just like beyond trivial. At the same time, again, as we discussed yesterday, these trivial things do add up, and first impressions are just cannot be overstated. First impressions are just everything. And so when you show an employer this, you need everything to just fit together, look clean, look good. And this portfolio does that, but there is just a few teeny tiny punctuation things. So like cleaning up this comma and putting it closer to coffee. There's a space here between the budget or the T and the period. It's not a huge deal. And then there needs to be like a space here between this period and the capital P. It's not a big deal. Like, this is not a make or break. This has nothing to do with your projects or anything like that, or your coding abilities. But these are the types of things that do add up. So just little small things like that and paying attention to this kind of stuff is what I noticed on one of the earliest passes of this site because I scrolled through this a few times. I was like, okay, this is neat. I like this. And I like how you put different photos for different components or different compartments. So this one is Hackathon winner. Our project was one of the 5 winning projects in the APEC App Challenge 2020. Congrats. The mobile application Insta Check-in aimed at helping out the tourism industry in the post-COVID world. Our next generation mobile app aims at making the check-in process at hotels completely contactless and digital. I would consider maybe making this font a little bigger, and it isn't hard to read, but I feel like it could be a little easier to read. Does that make sense? just making it a little more accessible in that way, because we do have a lot of room here. And even in this element, this shaded out element where you have the text, there is some room where you can make this font a little bigger and more readable. Now, if I click this, I was expecting this to take me to Insta Check-in, but instead I actually go to the app challenge, which is fine, but I would prefer, this is a big deal. Like, you're the winner. I would prefer to just go straight to this thing and see what it took to win the hackathon. And then maybe somewhere else, like maybe like right here, you could link to the app challenge itself. So I could, if people wanted to read more about that, they could. But my first want when I saw this was like, okay, I want to see this Insta check-in thing. So I would consider reorganizing those links, just so I could see more efficiently or more quickly what you did to win this hackathon. And then going down to competitive programming, you're on LeetCode, Hacker Earth, and Code Forces. Very few things in the world grab my attention, and competitive programming is one of them. I love solving mathematical and algorithmic problems through clean, readable, and understandable code. I prefer Java as my language, but I often code in C++ and Python and have solved more than 1,000 problems in platforms like LeetCode, Code Forces, Code Wars, and Hack Earth. My personal best rankings in competitive coding was rank 399 of 10,000 in LeetCode Challenge. That's a pretty big deal. LeetCode is freaking, those competitive coding sites, let's just say they're not for me. I've tried them and I'm just like, wow, all right, I failed. Next. Code Katas. What's the Code Kata one? University Annual Coding Competition. More information about these competitions. And again, clicking on this link, where does that actually bring me? So I would consider, again, making this thing link to your accomplishment rather than the actual page of all the different people who competed or whatever. I'm not really sure what this page is. The achievement of the school, these different individuals. So that's interesting. But again, just like up here, I would put your accomplishment front and center rather than putting yourself next to the competition or next to these other competing people. Then the blog, that's good. Blogging is always a good thing to bring up in a personal page or a portfolio site. Really emphasizes your communication skills. Even if they're simple blogs, doesn't matter. Taking that initiative to write blogs on tech is a big deal, especially for new developers. So good job with that. And this leads to your profile on dev.to. Awesome. Down here, we have the community. This is a good one too. Most portfolios that I have seen do not include their community activities. And that's okay, because the reason people send me their portfolios is to improve them before they start sending them off mass to employers. A lot of times, that's why most people give me their portfolios anyway. And having a community element is important for a few reasons, but primarily it illustrates to your potential employer that you can work with a team in a technical setting. And you want your portfolio, we talked about this quite a bit yesterday, but just to reiterate, you want your portfolio to match the scenarios at an employer as closely as possible. Because you're a new developer, that's hard to do, but you want to simulate it as much as possible. And at a workplace setting, it's all about the teamwork. It's all about working in teams. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about our career field, is that we're just sitting in our pods for 12 hours a day. When we're learning, yes. And when we're learning by ourselves, yes. But when we're at the job, that's not the case at all. We're doing stand-ups, we're on Slack, we're reading other people's documentation, we're writing documentation. And so the community elements, those interactive, interpersonal relationship elements are very, very important. And so if you have any experience with that sort of thing, put it in your portfolio. Put it in your portfolio. And if you don't have experience with that sort of thing, consider starting. It can be working on an open source project on GitHub. It can be contributing to just any old issue you see on GitHub. You don't have to know the person. It could be organizing a study group on Discord. We have some people on the RealToughCandy Discord who have organized some meetings and some study groups. That illustrates your communication and your community engagement. So this is I really love seeing this addition as well. This, I think, of all the things on here, number one, the coding competition grabbed my attention, but also the fact that you included community, because again, we talked about this yesterday too, but I'm going to bring up some of these elements because they are so important. It's not just about, it's such a hard task applying to these jobs and getting these interviews because it's a two huge component thing. Like the first component is you need to impress an employer so much that they'll reach out to you. But also number two, the second component is that you're competing against a pool of other applicants. So it's not just one application going to this employer and hoping they'll love it. It's your application with 100 or 1,000 others hoping your employer will say yes to you. So anything you can do to make yourself stand out, we talk about this a lot on the channel, even if it's just marginally, that's all it takes. Now, if your portfolio is smoking hot, then, you don't know, that person doesn't need my critique or my assessment. But for most people, it really just comes down to the marginal things where it's one small unit better than the rest of the competition. And if it comes down to community, then, that's the marginal thing. But this is just something I don't see. And so this makes this portfolio really stand out. And then as I'm scrolling down here, there's a contact section. One thing I would address right away is getting this upgraded to HTTPS. This needs to be encrypted, especially because you have a contact form. It's pretty dangerous. I don't want to be too melodramatic, but especially because you have a submission form here, you want that to be encrypted. A good job on this. I really enjoyed looking at this portfolio. Good way to start off the second day of Portfoliocon 2021. Let's check out the next portfolio. Amit says, I built it with Gatsby and Netlify. And we were talking about yesterday too, I see a lot of new patterns this year because last year at the start of 2020, I reviewed 30 some portfolios and I was seeing some patterns. Now this year we have a few different patterns. One of them is I'm seeing a lot of dark mode optional. That is really a nice feature. I'm also seeing a lot of Netlify deployments with these static site generators. And also too, I'm seeing more people, not a lot this year, but more than last year certainly, is people building their portfolios with Gatsby and React. So those are some interesting trends I've been seeing compared to last year. But let's talk about Amit's portfolio. The name of his is devchops.tech. This is a really interesting domain name. I like it. It's memorable and it illustrates him far more clearly than a .com, in my opinion. Devchops.tech says a lot about this person without even me seeing anything. So I really like this domain name. Again, first impression. I do look through all these portfolios. I have been looking through them throughout the week before we went live. And there are certain things that, even though I'm not able to spend hours on each portfolio, even if I spend 2 minutes on it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I do remember this. I remember devchops.tech. I remember this feature and that feature. This is a portfolio that has some really great features. And for those of you trying to get better at your own portfolio, this is one of the examples I will refer you to. And I'm going to show you why in just a moment. So here's Amit. We talked yesterday. I know I'm going to talk about yesterday a lot, but we covered a lot of ground. We talked about including a photo, not including a photo. And if you want to get caught up with that, the too long didn't read is A/B it. If you're not getting the results you like with the photo, try not using a photo and vice versa and measure your results there. Hi, I'm Amit. I'm a front-end developer. I'm currently working for Middle State LLC, a design company in Visalia, California. I use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, as well as Netlify and Gatsby to develop websites for various businesses in the Central Valley. What I like about this right away is that it develops a certain authority and it's no nonsense. Nice sized font, very readable. I like the box skill set. Nothing over the top. It's simple and it works. The visual hierarchy is very well done. You can see here that this heading is like an H2, maybe H3, probably an H2, but it is developed in a way where the visual hierarchy is really easy on the eyes. So it flows nicely into his narrative right here. And the spacing is good, really nice line length as well with characters. We talked about that a lot too yesterday for accessibility, the WCAG standards. Has anyone researched that? Because like I said, I think it might be 50 or somewhere between 50 and 70. I'm not sure the exact number, but this is definitely, I can just tell by looking at it, that falls between that standard. So that's good. That's great first impression. And as I go down here, so this is a Shopify area. These are Shopify development stores that I've customized from downloaded free themes from the Shopify theme store. Blows the process that I took to convert downloaded PSDs of e-commerce sites to Shopify sites, as well as installing and customizing required Shopify plugins. Below the process description are the actual Shopify store projects. All right, so this is just a perfect example of what I like seeing, both as a potential employer and as a client of someone, because as a customer, now this person is, I'm getting a freelance vibe because he says, I'm working at Middle States, a design company, and I develop sites for various businesses. So whether I'm an employer or someone looking for freelance services, this process illustrates what this person does very clearly, has some visual evidence here, visual proof, as well as a small narrative, which includes his process. And as we discuss so often on this channel, it's about processes, specifically the problem-solving process. And this illustrates the money is in the process, because it's not just about anyone can crank out a template in 5 minutes flat. It's not rocket science anymore, but it's the process and making it more efficient, making it as efficient as possible, that is really worth money, and it's what's going to get you hired. And so when you can illustrate that, it's a really good signal to an employer, whether it's a 9-to-5 person or someone looking for a freelance web developer. This is the type of thing they want to see. So step 4, edited theme elements and styles. Step 5, customize the content manager. Step 6, step 7. And then it segues into a list of projects. There's just something small I noticed. I was assuming because I'm old school, like an underlined line to me means a link. I thought this might link to the project or like a video demo or something. So I don't know if you want to change that. I don't mind the pink because it just kind of emphasizes the first line and first 2 lines. But the underline, I thought something was going to happen. Not a big deal, just something I noticed. Going down to projects, Fashion Lorem, downloaded the Fashion Lorem e-commerce PSD mockup from this site. And then you talk about your process. Also installed the following plugins, and this site is a work in progress. All right. So as soon as as soon as this is updated, I would definitely update this narrative here and just take out that last line, depending on how long you expect it to be a work in progress. I don't know if it's like one of those things that's like years in progress, because I have those projects too, or if it's like I just need another couple days to get stuff working. But this is the example of that, so good link into that, as well as the GitHub code, or the code on GitHub right here. And now here are the projects you did for Middle State. These were contract jobs for which I also did periodic updates to add new content and features. I used Netlify CMS, Gatsby, and Sass. The other thing too is that this is very consistent with the projects you've done. It's not like, okay, for this I use React, here I use Knockout, here I use Vue, here I use PHP, here I use Node. It's not all over the place. And so reinforcing those core skills is also a good sign. I like these photos. They're nice and clean. And then a small little narrative here with each of these projects. Very nice. And notice too with this photo, he has an example of the site on different devices. Now there are some sites out there that do this and they just look so clean, especially if you're a freelancer working on your portfolio and you're trying to show off your work. Consider doing something like this because it looks clean, it looks nice. Data harvest, and then the projects go on and on. We have some social proof, which is another great touch, and a get in touch contact form here, which is an actual form and it's encrypted. This is a really well done site. I really enjoyed looking at it. Just the minor thing of this underlying text right here. Like I said, I thought it was going to link to a project or, one of your steps in your process. But other than that, I really enjoyed seeing this. Great work. Everything about it was great. Let's see who's next. Medupi says, these is 2 websites I built that I'm yet to add. Okay, so this portfolio is a work in progress. Let's check it out. Okay, so the first thing I noticed is that it's not encrypted, so you want to upgrade to that. And actually, depending on who's hosting your site, you can actually do it for free. You can do what's called Let's Encrypt, and it's free encryption. If that's something, you're comfortable doing. Otherwise, if you just want to buy one, an SSL cert, it's like, I don't know, I think it's like $10 or something, 10 or $15. And depending on your hosting service, they can install it for you. It's up to you. But if you're able to and you want to, they can do it for free for you. Or you can do it for free for yourself. So here is your landing page. We have personal info, education, work experience, skills, projects, websites, references, certifications, all the core components of what a person would expect to see in a portfolio site. Now, one thing I did notice down here, where was it? Was it work experience? Starting with the education, I was scrolling over it and I noticed this kind of faded in and I was like, what the heck is this arrow? And it just kind of did that. And then I went over here and I clicked that and it did that. I don't think that's really doing much for the site. I don't know if it was intentional or this was just part of the component, but I would take that out because it's not really doing anything. As I hover over each box, I can't scroll down. So I know that this doesn't have to do with that, but I'm wondering what that little arrow is for. These are also like that as well. So I definitely addressed those. The other thing too is that the star background does give the site some space, no pun intended. But I did notice that it is a little hard to read. So unless I hover over it, which I may or may not do depending on where my cursor is, the white text or the white font as well as the gray one is kind of hard to read, especially if going down here, let's see. Okay, not especially if, but just in general, if I don't hover over it, that's what it was, especially the view company, if I don't hover over those are pretty hard to read. They kind of blend into the space background. One thing you could do, you could add, again, I don't like talking about specific implementations or specific ideas, but I'm just going to share what came to mind. You could do whatever you want to get creative with it if you decide to change it. But one thing I thought of is maybe putting like a CSS filter over this background to just dull it. And that would make this font pop so much more cleanly. And these spacers. So there's just a few things that need cleaning up. I think some of the spacing here could get tightened up a little. There is a lot of headroom here between this part. So there's various portions here that are implied. So there's like the landing page, top of the page, right? Above the fold, this part, and then the personal info. So that's one block. And then our other block is education. And then our other block is work experiences. And then we go into skills. Then we go into projects. So there's multiple blocks here, but these two kind of flow into each other. But there is a lot of space right around here. So I feel like you could really tighten this up and maybe even consider consolidating personal info in one box on the left or right and putting education on the other side. because I did notice I was scrolling quite a bit just to get to the meat of the portfolio, and just kind of like, okay, scroll down. And this is all good information, having your skills here listed. I do like that. And I do see this on other portfolios too. And it is a feature I do like, seeing the graphic or the logo or, whatever, the GIF, if that case may be, of whatever technology. I know some people say GIF. Are GIF? I used to say GIF, but then people made fun of me. So then I started saying GIF. People were like, it's not GIF, it's Jeff. Just like, you can't win. But having those logos, whatever you want to call them, they do work well, and they illustrate very quickly what you're working with. So for example, C++ though, so Python, I noticed, is the Python logo, but C++ does have its own logo, and that was a bracket or two brackets with a slash in it. So you might want to consider discovering if some of these logos, like the blockchain, that's, blockchain, but SQL, that's a traditional database logo, and React, you have one, but I know for sure C++ has one too. Just something minor. Projects. These are some of the projects I've done in my spare time. I love coding and technology. I believe that one should always seek ways to better themselves through learning and adopting innovative ways of doing things. Please click on the link to view the website I built. So this is decentralized applications, and I'm wondering where the link is though. So this was where, this is, okay, is this it? That would make sense. Let's see. Okay, that makes sense. Developers, by the way, if you could, I need to ask you a favor, hit that like button. Hit the like button. Tell YouTube this is worth it in 2021. Show some love for the stream. Thank you for your support. Also want to take this time real quick to give a shout out to my patrons at patreon.com/RealToughCandy. They financially support this channel. Also, Chiquito financially supports this channel with his kombucha drops. And number 3 are YouTube channel members. Some of them were in attendance yesterday. They have green font and a piece of candy next to their names. Thank you so much for your support making this stream possible. And a shout out to Paradoodly Doo for the Herculean task of modding the stream. So going back to this portfolio, okay, so that makes sense. I did not know where the link was you were talking about to the project. So I would be a little more explicit and have a link down here. We've gone through a lot of different portfolios today where there's an icon or there's just a text linked to, however you want to do it. Just something where I can jump into the application. If this is indeed matching with this. It says, I'm building a decentralized application using React for my front end and Ethereum blockchain for my back end. I'm connecting the application to IPFS, which is a decentralized storage repository, using tools such as Ganache, Truffle, MetaMask, Web3, and the programming language for the smart contracts is Solidity. So I don't know if this is matching with this. And what this video is, maybe a brief intro to the video before I play it so I can get some more context into what that is. And so here are 3 websites you built. Good. I would have just a brief introduction, or you could have, we talked about the PAR statement yesterday, the problem, the action, and the result, giving some narrative content to each of these so we know what we're clicking on before we click on them. And again, I'm going to say it. We talked about this yesterday too a lot, referencing yesterday's live stream. We talked about giving context and making sure when people are going to click something, they know what they're going to click. We talked about a few people had the download resume button, and the wording with that is a little dubious. Even if it was just going to pop into a new window, you want to make sure that you're being as explicit as possible without downloading stuff onto people's computers. But that's a little off topic, but that's what the broader, more important thing is that people know, potential employers know what they're about to get into. And you never want to surprise them with your links. References, okay, good. And certifications. Microsoft Azure certificate and different Microsoft certificates. So these are the certificates that do have significantly more weight compared to something like a Udemy search or something from an online coding course. It is something to be proud of, no doubt. But these things, generally, there's like a proctor involved. You usually have to pay for the proctor. Sometimes you definitely have to study for them. And they're issued by various organizations and certifying bodies and so on. Yesterday, we saw 2 certificates from, I can't remember his name, but there were 2 DevOps certificates. These types of certificates are good to have, and especially if it's a smaller employer who needs someone to do it all, like not just web development, but also DevOps stuff. And Microsoft database stuff, then absolutely, and especially if they're using Azure, this is a good certificate to have. I would say the biggest thing, having this a little more accessible, because it was a little hard for me to read, but I think you're definitely on the right path with this, so keep it up, and I'm excited to see what you come up with. And also, too, getting this upgraded to SSL is a big thing, too. Thank you for the submission. Number 37, Milton Chung. Let's see what Milton is up to today. Oh, by the way, developers, we're giving away 2 other prizes today, courtesy of Caleb Curry from codebreakthrough.com. Many of you know his channel on YouTube. It's a pretty big channel. I know he saved my butt when it came to getting a crash course in DB2 because I worked at an IBM shop. Whoo, those videos, thank goodness. But he has given away 2 courses. He has graciously agreed to give away his Intro to Machine Learning course that's coming out, as well as his Python course where you will learn Flask. So those are going to be given away randomly today, too. You want to stick around for those. I will give you the disclaimer. Those courses are not yet available to the public. So we're going to get you on the list. I'm going to CC the winners after the stream. We'll get you hooked up. We'll get you CC'd there with Caleb, and he will give you further instructions for claiming your free courses. Really excited. Thanks, Caleb, for giving those away. I haven't decided when, but we will. Could be soon, could be not. Let's check out Milton Chung's portfolio. Hi, I'm Milton Chung, front-end developer. Short, sweet, to the point. And we go down here, a little bit about me. The first thing that struck me about this portfolio is the smart, compact design. Now, up here is pretty spacious, but also, too, it imparts some very important information. This person's name and what they do. There are also, if you don't even want to fuss with going through all this, you can contact him right away or check out the portfolio. There are also options up here. So I like that I had the option of just staying down here in this area to see the important stuff. I could go up here if I'm used to using headers for navigation, or the top part of a page for navigation. And also down here, if I wanted to scroll, I'm totally free to do that. So I'm so used to scrolling on this laptop, I'm going to go ahead and scroll. A little about me. I'm a recent graduate from the University of UC Santa Cruz with a Bachelor of Arts in Computer Science and Bachelor of Sciences in Cognitive Science. I'm currently a student at New Camp Coding Bootcamp, studying to become a MERN full stack dev. I have experience building websites from the ground up using plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but also using more advanced frameworks and technologies like React, Sass, and Bootstrap to make my websites to the next level. Designing and building websites is my passion, and I want to bring designs to life for the world to see. I really like the layout of this. This is good organization. I am not sure if this is a component you found online or you built it 100% from scratch. That's not what I'm thinking about right now. I'm just thinking about how nice it looks and how good it reads. Usually I would say break this up into a few paragraphs. I'm not sure if it's necessary though. I wouldn't even overthink it or even think about it. Under normal circumstances, I'd say make your paragraphs 1 to 2 sentences. But because this is all related to one big thing, that this is all about you studying and what you're doing, you might break it up into another paragraph, you might not. I like it as is. Here's another chance to read more about you. Read your resume. Now notice that this button does not say download resume, which was a good thing, which I approved of, because as we were talking about yesterday, the ones that said download resume, I didn't even want to click it, because it wasn't that I inherently did not trust that person. It's just that I didn't know them. So I think people are going to be like, Candies, there's no difference. Like, there is a difference. I'm not suspicious of that person. It's just that we don't have that rapport yet. And it really could lead anywhere. So we're going to go ahead and click that and open it in a new tab. This is a nice, clean resume. Good job on that. I'm not going to go through all the credentials and stuff. Just the first impressions were good. It was nice and clean, nicely organized there. Going down your portfolio, we have 6 projects, which is a good, perfect number. I do recommend 4 to 6 to keep it manageable for both the reviewer and potential employers and yourself. So good. Blueberry Fago, that isn't that a pop from Michigan? You can tell I'm from the Midwest. I say pop. Isn't that a soda from Michigan? Like, I don't know. Where are my Michiganders at? I know we had one yesterday. Nikki Poole and Donovan. Donovan stopped in. I heard from sources that Donovan stopped in before a meeting to say hi. So thanks for checking in, Donovan. Good hearing from you. And anyways, I get way too distracted with this kind of thing. So what's this? Front-end mentor challenges. Here's the first project. Notice this. I really liked how this was organized. So at first, it's just a couple of screenshots from the projects, and when I click it, a modal pops up and I get some context. Very well done. This website contains all my solutions to the popular coding challenge website, Front End Mentor. Now, what I love about this as your primary number 1 project, because people read from left to right, I'm starting here, so I'm going to assume this is your best project or your most prominent project. At least it's prominent to me. So I click on it, and what it is, it's a website that contains answers to Front-End Mentor. So it's a project of many multiple projects, and I can see all of these projects that Milton completed. Ping coming soon page. And all of these are presumably because he advertised himself as a front-end developer, and this is saying front-end mentor challenges. I'm going to presume these are all front-end projects. So these are components, these are landing pages, these are cards, stuff like this. But how many is this? 1, 2, 3, many multiple. I'm not even going to count them, but there are a lot. And this was smart. I like how you did this, because instead of putting every one of these on your main page, you put them in a project. Good thinking. That's a good design. Good design, thinking about, okay, am I really going to put 40 projects on here? And these are all kind of mini projects, but that's okay, because it's still the project as a whole is significant. And these are all nice looking little components and things. These are all nice. The only thing I would say is that I would like to see some of your challenges that you encountered while building these, because right now I'm not really seeing anything about your problem solving process. And obviously, banging out like 20 or 30 projects here, you had to have a problem solving process. I'm just seeing the completed product, and I don't think you have GitHub or any examples there, code examples where I can go and see what your code structure was like, what your file structure is like, things like that. If you're commenting code, what does the code look like? Now, this portfolio reviews that I'm doing, I don't review code. Portfolio reviews are not code reviews, but I'm just saying, as a potential employer, that is something I would be interested in seeing, rather than just, here's a link to the project and nothing more about your problem solving process. I would like some more insight into that. Same goes with these other projects as well. Okay, I retract it. You have the code right here. I take it back. Here it is. Disregard code. And you do have the narrative right here. And so that does illustrate some of your process. But okay, so let me retract all this because that little lecture I just gave might have been totally in vain. I apologize. Let's see. Okay. Milton, I apologize. It says in each of the readmes, in each folder, I included the challenges I faced, what I learned, and the time it took to complete the challenge. Okay, listen, you've got it figured out. You've got it. You've got it. So in this readme, here's your challenge. Here's the project. Okay, good job. Good freaking job. My bad. I should have read. I should have readed. I should have readed, but I did not. Good thing I caught that. And these are all consistent with that. So very good with that. And you have the technologies listed up here. My skills. I like this. Nice colorful boxes with a little bit of user feedback as I hover over each one, and a contact section and links to your profiles. This is a very well done not just profile, but very well done portfolio. Because of my oversight here, don't listen to most of what all of what I said about writing about your challenges and stuff, because if I would have read it, I would have seen that you have them listed in the code. So great job. You did everything that I'm looking for, the main components that I'm looking for when I'm looking over these portfolios. If I had to give a little bit of constructive feedback, I'm trying to think, I usually try to give one or two little things. There really isn't much. If I think of something, the thing is, unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, because of the volume of portfolios, I'm not able to go into each one for a length. I'm sure if I spent 20, 25 minutes on this, I could find a few things. But as far as first impressions, UX, UI, the big first impression things, I'm just not seeing it. Great job. Number 38, Anish. Let's check it out. About me, vital stats, download resume, read my articles. So this is another portfolio where you don't scroll down, which is totally fine. Like I said yesterday, I'm just so used to scrolling down on these things in any web page. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just me verbalizing my thoughts here. Let's go to your portfolio page and see what's cracking. I like how this is clever. I like this. All right, nice. So same thing with a few of these other portfolios, especially because you have a contact form. You want to upgrade and get that sweet SSL action so that people aren't reading my very important message to you when I send you an email. Available for freelancing. Okay, so if we go to your resume, what happens? Cool. And then there's a download button here if people desire it. But the more important thing is that you're giving people the resume without having to download anything. So this looks good. Awards and achievements. Cool. The thing with this, I do like this. Some of these photos are skewed, and I know this is a really tough thing, and I do see it pretty consistently, pretty often, is that we create these boxes and they look perfect on the screen, but then it's time to slap the photo on. It's like, oh, I can't get this aspect ratio. And so these photos are different sizes and they're really hard to get consistent. This is one of those things where it's not a make or break, but it is something I did notice, that the photos, like this one, is just like stretched like an accordion vertically. And I don't know if that would be a tough fix with the way this is coded, or how you'd want to address that. The other thing too I'd like to see is I like that when I hover over it, you tell me what it's about, what these awards all about. It would be nice to have a bigger font though, and maybe just kind of bumped up and centered or pulled up so that I can read what it is that you were awarded with and what you achieved. Same with all of these. Microsoft Imagine Cup judge. I was one of the judges for the Microsoft Imagine Cup. That's pretty neat. Cool. What's this one? Winner of City App Hackathon. City App was the first ever nationwide hackathon in Nepal, and me, along with my team, was able to win the competition. That's very cool. And there's links to these as well. So let me see what happens when I do that. Okay. If possible, can you link to, is there like a news article or any sort of write-up about this? YouTube video or anything? I think that would be cool. Same with this. I was awarded the MVP for Youth Park program by Microsoft. Be cool to see more about, or maybe a link to what Youth Spark is officially on the official Microsoft page or something. Just something a little more. Again, these aren't make or break things, just little things I noticed. Let's go to the portfolio here. I do enjoy how this is set up, how it's just kind of, it's very compact, and it's not this, it doesn't drag on my eyes. It's like, oh, now I'm scrolling all the way down here. It's just like zoop, 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 just pushing itself in as I click these buttons. Very cool. But let's go back to the portfolio. And your first project is called Safety Whistle, the safety app, which is focused on public safety. Main concept of this app is that if any individual is in problem, this app in a click can send SMS to their near dear phone with their locations, and it can also track the nearest police stations and hospitals. Just a few little typos here, closing up. I mentioned this earlier on a portfolio. I really want to emphasize it is small, okay, compared to other things that are going on in portfolios. Spelling and grammar is important, but it's not like this huge, like, oh my gosh, they forgot to capitalize it, I am never talking to them again. It's just something when you're sending this out, you just want to put your best foot forward. So capitalizing this T, moving this period back to so it's against the M, closing this up, stuff like that, making it more readable. And I don't know if you're on dev.to or any type of community. This is why community is so helpful and important too, is that in a lot of these Discords, wherever you go, meetups, Discords, if it's dev.to, because the reason I mentioned dev.to a lot too is because most of these portfolios are coming from there. I'm assuming this one's from dev.to as well. Open. You could even consider open sourcing some of this stuff and having people help you with some of the more challenging things with your portfolio. There's no shame in asking for help, absolutely not, and it's going to illustrate those communication skills and your teamwork skills and how you're working with the community. So this app doesn't have a link to it. It would be nice to definitely see this in action, or if it was just like a graph, something more to see this in action. Same with CLI info. So you have your third project job portal on GitHub. This one's on GitHub. These are on GitHub. This one's on Hackster, microbit speech synthesis. I can't even speak. Microbit speech synthesis. This project is built for making BBC microbit talk using MicroPython. I have written code to make microbit talk using MicroPython speech synthesis. The interesting part is just 4 lines of code and your device will start saying whatever you want. What? That's cool. Let's see this one. So is this all of the same I've actually never been to hackster.io. Okay, interesting. So which one? So this is the BBC one. Is this all the BBC one? Interesting. Okay, that's cool. So you have demos here of those. Man, you're getting some heavy views on some of these. Traffic light system using BBC microbit. Create compass. Okay, so these are all different projects, right? So if possible, I would link it, because you said see all projects here on view on Hackster. If possible, I would just try and link to this one, because that was the one that was the one I'm really interested in after reading about it. It piqued my interest. I want to see what it's all about. I think the most important thing though for this page is getting these two. If these are, you want to have your important projects first, your most relevant, your the ones you're most excited about, the ones you worked really hard on, the ones that have some serious problems you solved. You want to have those up top, and you also want to have some links to them and some further information. But some of these projects that I'm reading about are very neat. And then down here, a hire me button. I'm not real sure what happens if I click this, and I'm not going to click it just because I don't know what happens. I'm hovering over it, but nothing's popping up as to show me what the URL might be. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. I would give some more feedback to the user as to what this does. So, and also, if your main goal is to get hired, I would put this in a more prominent position, maybe in the middle somewhere as like a more rectangular button, or a contact me or something. See, I don't know. Let's see if you're what you're trying to do here. Are you trying to get a 9 to 5, or are you trying to do freelance stuff? That I'm not sure on. So whatever one that is in your portfolio section, you want it to reflect, you want to cater to your desired audience. So if it's a freelancing thing you're looking for, hire me absolutely is appropriate. But if it's a 9 to 5, you want to start a little, you want to turn it down a little bit. You want to say contact me, or let's talk, or let's discuss more. So yeah, other than that, great job. I enjoyed the layout of this portfolio. This is a great start. Busy with blogs, I see, which is also good. Enjoy the design. Good job. Thanks for your submission. And cool projects on this BBC microbit thing. This is a new one for me, and it looks like you're doing all kinds of crazy, wild and crazy things here. Anything with bright, flashing red LED lights is cool in my book. Let's go to Kamal Sharma 2712.github.io, a static site on github.io. Kamal, good start. Looks like you need some portfolio projects though, my friend. We went through a lot so far today. It's already 1:00. Oh my gosh. Definitely take some inspiration from some of these other portfolios we've done, and get those projects in, get that contact form in, and the other relevant info. And I would be happy to take a look at it the next time we do a Portfoliocon. We might have a Portfoliocon this spring or summer, depending on how far the word gets spread. It'd be cool to have multiple people. It'd be cool to have multiple developers reviewing some of these portfolios. I did not hyperlink this entire thing. My bad. Let's see. Oh, okay. Whoops. Sorry, developers. I'm still trying to wake up here. I'm still traumatized from that kombucha spill. This portfolio is oh, whoops. My bad. Did we go to Kamal's? Oh yeah, Kamal's was the one that needs some content yet. So PT Prashant is this guy's portfolio. Let me take a little swig here. It's already 1:00. We've been here an hour already. Time flies. How's everyone doing out there? If you're doing good, I hope you're doing even better after I make this announcement. We're going to give away Caleb Curry's Python Flask course. If you want to learn a awesome technology based on my favorite programming language of all time, Python, it's a Flask course by my friend Caleb Curry. As mentioned earlier, he has a great YouTube channel. His website is codebreakthrough.com. And we're going to be giving this one away. Please, for the sake of my mod, we don't want this mod to quit. I cannot lose my mod, so please just enter the following number one time. If you would like to win a copy, a free access to Caleb Curry's Flask course, it's coming up. It's not released yet, but I'm going to get you in touch with Caleb, and he agreed to generously give away a copy of this course. One free access coupon. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to put a 0 in the comments right now, one time only, please. This is for Caleb Curry's Flask course. Gonna be hot off the presses soon. Release date, I don't know, but it's coming soon. It's coming soon. Put a 0 in the comments. I know we have a little bit of a lag for the live stream, so I'll give you guys a few seconds to get your 0s in, and we are gonna get you hooked up with that course. Caleb he's doing a lot of stuff lately. He has a huge YouTube channel. I think he has like 250,000 subs. His channel is exploding. He does these huge crash courses. He did like a 9-hour, it was either C or C++ crash course last year. And now he's moving on to his own platform where he's doing exclusive courses for people. I mean, he has a data structures and algorithms course. I know some of his courses are continuous access. Some of them are closed, open and closed access. Like it'll be open for a week and then closed for the rest of the year. But yeah, he's making moves. He's a really great instructor, and I am very proud to take his prize and give it to you. So let's see who we have in the comments here. Ooh, we have a lot of people. Hey, we have some people. I recognize some of these names with their portfolios. I see Yar is here and other people in the chat. So anyone who has spent some time here at Portfoliocon knows my very basic ways. I'm just going to point. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 and open my eyes. Joshua Taro, congratulations. You are the winner of Caleb Curry's Flask course. If you would, please email me right now. Let me know that you're the winner of the course. Later on tonight after the stream, after I collect myself, I will CC you, and Caleb's going to get you connected with that course, all right? If you did not win, don't worry. We still have one more Caleb Curry course to give away today. We're going to be giving away his Intro to Machine Learning. And that one is coming up too. That's going to be fresh off the presses pretty soon too. So no worries. There's still a chance. Also too, we have Portfolio Surgery on sale until tomorrow. It's a flash sale. It's $9.99. It is freaking Udemy pricing for the fans, for people participating in Portfoliocon, whether you are a person on this list, whether you are a person just casually tuning in, or maybe I have no idea who you are and you just want to take a plunge. You don't even know, you have no idea how you land on this live stream. You have no idea what we're talking about. I don't, that is not even an issue for me. The coupon code is available for just about anyone. It's in the description box. This course is normally $79.99. I went crazy. I had to do it to make a statement. It's $9.99. Portfolio Surgery on RealToughCandy.io. Links are in the description box. Paradoodly-doo. You know what to do. Pop that link in for Portfolio Surgery, and we're going to move it right along to PT Prashant's portfolio. Let's check it out. So this is PT Prashant's, and we're going to scroll down here. I need to take a drink of my happy juice, and while I do that, you guys can take a look at this portfolio, and then we're going to go over it. One thing I really enjoyed about this portfolio is the projects and work section. I've seen this here and there, and I'm not sure where to get this formatting and how to implement this, but I like it. Every time I see it, it just looks sharp. It looks professional. Maybe PT, if you're here, can you let us know what this is all about? I could go into the dev tools, but I'm not. I'd rather take the easy way, the lazy programmer way, and just ask how you got this, because as you can see here, these are cards, pretty much just cards, but then you have the current stars and also how many times it's been forked. So that is a really cool snapshot of these projects, and it just looks professional. Is this the last updated date? I'm not sure what this date represents, or maybe the first time, maybe when the repository was initialized or something. I don't know. I want to go see what it is. Let's see. what the significance of November 19th, 2020 is. Let's check it out right about, we could click here or we could click here. Let's click here. Okay, so 11/20. This is maybe when the project was first pushed or something. Ooh. Okay. So are these, let's see. What did you say this project actually was? A lightweight node-based Bhagavad Gita API server? Open source API, Divine Song of God. So, what exactly does this do? This looks really neat. I've definitely not seen this before. The first thing I'm thinking is, this looks cool. What is it? Like, it's an API, but for what? Like, for someone who's not familiar with Bhagavad Gita, I don't want to Google it as an employer. As an employer, I don't want to do that. I want to know just right away, what is that? Now, if you're applying to places that are completely familiar with this, then it's probably not necessary. But for someone like me, I am not really sure what that is. Also, the demo, I didn't realize there was a demo of this project until right now. And so I think, let's check out the demo. Okay, a small step to bring Vedic Indian scriptures in API's world. That's all I need. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I had to kind of dig to find the API link, or the link to the project, a link to the demo rather. I would like the demo to be more prominent, preferably on the portfolio itself. Because as you saw here, unfortunately, I was kind of floundering, and then right here, I should have looked right here too. But I didn't, because I was more concerned about discovering, what this was. If this was more prominent, if the demo was more prominent here, I think that would be very helpful, if possible. Now, I know this format may not be, it may be difficult to include the link in this format. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how easy that would be. But let's go back here. Let me click this and see if this is the same thing. Right. Okay. So this is the same thing. Cool. But yeah, just having a more centralized place somewhere on your portfolio where it explains what this stuff is, and a live link to the demo. Because if I click on this one, IPL 2020 prediction, predictive analysis of an IPL match using SVM binary classifier. We click this one. So there's the link there. And then nice picture, deploy, about, nice screenshots, very nice. Release history, the developer, good. Support, good. License, important link. Just a small typo there. That should be an A, but again, I know it's very small. Just pointing it out as I see it. IPL 2020 prediction. Yeah, so let's go here. All right, cool. Some of these projects are very neat, and I would like to see more information about your role in these projects. Kind of like how I was like lecturing Milton when he had all the information right there. Milton, by the way, if you're still watching this, props. He wrote about the challenges he faced and what he did to overcome those challenges for each project. Something like that, just a little bit more, because some of this stuff is pretty obvious. So Innovation Hub, a social networking site for students to show their project works and skills. Okay, so that's pretty explanatory, right? Shri Ganesh Shri Ganesh, this astrology Android app based upon Krishna Jyotish Padati. I totally slaughtered that name and I apologize. Just a little bit more. And also, okay, so here's an about. Okay, so that's good. That's good. I like the screenshots. Again, just like your other application, this README is very well done. Great pictures. Great. I love this release history. This is something I don't see a lot in a lot of newer developers' GitHubs. So this is a differentiator. This is a differentiator in a very good way, as well as features. You know, this is a good thing too, because I don't have to think about what I like about the project and what I don't. You're telling me what the features are and what's good about it. And so the more control you have over your own narrative, the better. You don't want your employer to be jumping to conclusions. You want to feed them everything you can about yourself. You want to form your own narrative. Because when your narrative goes into someone else's hands, it's not going to be as nuanced and it's not going to be as positive, because you know all the positives, you know the inside and out of these applications, and you know all their features, their benefits. Spell it out for your employer. And I really love that you did this here. I think an even more stronger submission would be to put some of those features maybe somewhere on here. I don't know how, but I think the really strong points of these projects are kind of buried inside the READMEs. And unfortunately, a lot of employers aren't even going to click on the GitHub link. They're going to say, people are lazy. It is what it is. Employers, like we mentioned yesterday and today also, we have hundreds, thousands sometimes of candidates for one job opening. Most employers just don't have time to go through and pick out and say, okay, so where's the narrative for this project? What were the challenges? Where's the information? What are the features on this? It would be, in my opinion and in my experience, a lot more effective if somewhere on this page, some of this important information about your process was included on your portfolio. But there are some really great features that I do just love in the READMEs. They're just kind of hard to get to compared to seeing them right here on this page right here. You know, the README information is kind of the heart and soul of these projects. So I think to have them more prominent would be a really good idea. How many projects do you have on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would consider cutting down a few of these projects. I do like this too. This is one thing I noticed, is that this is a GIF of your portfolio. That's a cool thing. Just a little visual a visual bloop, if you will, to use the scientific term. And then the contact, I would highly recommend having a contact form and make it easier for people to get in touch with you rather than trying to contact you on YouTube. You do have a lot of social links here. Just make sure these are all professional in nature, especially with Reddit. A lot of people are professional on Reddit, but it does get out of hand and devolve pretty quickly there, I've noticed. So just make sure that your comment history is clean, safe for work, that kind of thing. Same with Insta. All these things, you just want to paint yourself in a good light, and you don't want to make yourself vulnerable in any way. So just because these exist doesn't mean you have to put them on there. And in fact, I would recommend maybe taking a few of these off, just because a lot of time, I don't want to say more often than not, but so many times employers are looking at these things and they're seeing something they don't like. And so it's a disqualifier. So unless it's largely or completely related to technical elements, technical things, I would recommend not including those types of socials, because they have nothing. Sometimes, a lot of times, many of these socials, and not you in particular, but I'm just saying in general, some of these socials, sometimes a lot of these socials have nothing to do with tech, and that can be detrimental and unfortunately weed a lot of candidates out. So no party pictures, no not safe for work stuff, etc. But good job here. This is a great start. Just a few things down here, especially with this work, because you do have some great projects here. I just want to see that extracted more and more prominent on your portfolio page itself. Thank you for the submission. Let's go to Cyril's at alphadevelop.co. Whoops. I'm going to open this in a new tab. Ba-boom. Alpha Development, expanding your business, reach more clients with the website. Okay, so right away, we're getting the vibe that this is a freelancer site, right? Messaging is very important, especially with first impressions. So that was my first impression, that this is catering towards businesses who want more clients. And this might be a good place to start. So check out our Alpha products, Bookmate. We have some social proof here, even if implied, 5 stars. Why not? Bookmate is a web-based hotel booking application. It's a full stack app where you can find your favorite properties, get hot offers, and book. So what happens if I click this? I don't like clicking things if I don't know where they're going to go. I cannot click this, unfortunately, but we're going to click this one instead and see this live application. How can I read more about the description? Because I'm interested. It's definitely caught my attention. There's a nice little picture here. There's a 5-star, just stars popping up. There's technology listed down here. We got some Next and Node action, JavaScript, React, all kinds of stuff. And same with this one. If I wanted to, I may as well, okay, I'm going to click view all. Okay, and that expands. You know what? I'm going to go for it. Okay. I see. If there is a way for you to show me where this view was going to take me, I would have been much more willing to click it. I took a chance clicking it, not knowing where it was going to lead me, and so I was hesitant. I would consider giving some visual feedback for the user, showing them where they're going to go. Because as we discussed earlier, you always want to have your user know where they're going. You don't want to surprise them. Bookmate is a web-based hotel booking application. It's a full stack application where you can find your favorite properties, get hot offers in the most comfortable room. Ooh, I like that. Features, property. Okay, cool. And just like the last portfolio with the readmes, that person listed off their features, which is awesome, because I don't have to think and I don't have to look for these features. If I looked myself, I wouldn't pick up half of these features. And if I did notice some of these things, I may not interpret them as features. So this is a contact us section or contact us button. Again, not sure where it leads me. Is it going to open my mail client? Is it going to take me to Gmail? Is it just going to do what? I would definitely give some visual feedback for what that is about to do. But I like that you expanded on this. This is a very good narrative. This is a good explanation of the features. And because this is more of a freelancing themed portfolio, you want to show your potential clients what you're capable of doing and the features you're able to build with these types of sites. Now I'm going to go back. And if I hit view all, I can let's go check it out, actually. This is on Heroku. Now, yesterday, one of the last portfolios reviewed was on Heroku, and Heroku is very unreliable. Now, because the free tier is very tempting to sign up on because it's free and it's able to host a variety of full stack applications, it's a popular place. But as you can see, it takes a long time to fire up. That is, for a first impression thing, that is usually not a good sign, especially with a potential freelance client base. Let's try this one also. This is on, that's not on Heroku. This one is, but let's make sure, let's see how this one performs. Because as a potential freelance client, as someone who wants to expand my business, and I'm seeing this is at odds with expanding my business, because people who have to wait this long for a site to load probably not going to stick around too long. They're just going to click out and bounce and go to the next site, unfortunately. So if you can find a way to speed up your Heroku apps or host them on a place that is speedier, I would definitely consider it. Again, this is an issue I see so often with Heroku, and unfortunately, it's hard to remedy without forking over some money or changing providers. Coco, let's go to this one. Dark Arts is a web app designed to showcase the amazing artworks of the client. It is a personally customized site. So let me view more about this, because this narrative has got me interested. It's a personally customized site, and the features are based on the client's needs. The application's purpose is to make potential customers have easy access over previous works of the artist and provide a convenient medium of connecting with the artist. So again, good job with this. This is a great narrative, great feature list. And let's check out the project. I would like to have here the ability to check out the project too, because here it is. Okay, never mind. I retract. Let's check this one out and see what is really going on with Dark Arts. So it looks like we have a bit of an issue with the loading here too. I would say, let's see if this does load. Okay, so it does load. Is this a full stack? Okay, this is a full stack app. Okay. I would research ways or even different hosting providers so this can load faster. Absolutely. Of all the things, I mean, everything else here is just so wonderful. I love the narrative. Again, I love the narrative. Nice technology section. For people who know what it is, great. For those who don't, it just looks amazing, right? Like, just for people who are baffled, it's just like, oh, okay. I remember when I was, not knowing much about code and technologies, and I'd see these things, I'm like, wow, that's cool. So even if people don't know what these things are, they at least bare minimum look really cool. The features section, you understand your product, right? That's really important. That's super important. And you understand it enough that where you can write about it and talk about it, and it's organized in such a wonderful way. You have some screenshots here. Oh, what? Okay, I didn't know that. I did not know that until now that I could click on these. This is great. You might want to bring some more attention to this gallery because this is powerful. This is a really nice feature, but I think the big killer here, the big elephant in the room, is the load time for the projects. Especially important, just critically important, because this is catering towards potential clients. This site itself, I think, was pretty easy to fire up, right? I don't think I was waiting too long for this. And you have some social proof. This is great. This is great. Download resume. If possible, show me where this is going. And if possible, open it up in a new tab rather than force the download. Let's see. How can I contact you? Contact. What? All right, so definitely need a contact area with contact form. This is an encrypted site. That's great. You have a mailing list, which is really great. Freelance email lists are very powerful. Getting people on your list, any type of list, is powerful. The social proof is absolutely phenomenal. This is when you can get social proof. We saw this yesterday in someone's portfolio. I think they were looking for a 9 to 5, and they had years of experience. And they had this huge thing of social proof, and it's just worth so much. It's worth its weight in gold, 10x. When these people can say things, and from different companies, no less. Carlito from Dark Arts, Juliana from Golden Garden, Darshan from Eminon Aquaphonics. When you can get people to say that about you, that's worth literally, it can be worth literally $1 million. When people, and because it adds to your trust factor. Someone who doesn't know you looking over this and getting down here and saying, oh, these people are just I don't know these people, but they're business people like me. They're just these everyday people, but they're also doing business. What? And they're saying great things about this guy. Right on. And so it inspires people to contact you, ask you questions, do business with you, and it instills trust. That's the biggest thing. It's really hard to do. You can't buy that. You cannot buy trust. But you can instill trust with things like social proof. This is a really good example of that. Biggest thing by far in this portfolio is getting those sites faster, lots faster. Other than that, this is really good portfolio. Thanks for your submission. Also, a contact form is really important too, not just the email list, but phone number too. A lot of clients do prefer calling rather than emailing. Next on the list, Bihan, number 42. Let's check it out. Bihan, chakabordi.web.app. By the way, developers, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you are enjoying today's Portfoliocon day 2, we're going through these portfolios, helping real developers with their portfolios so they can level up, land a job, maybe even get a raise. So they can get those callbacks, interviews, and job offers. These are real portfolios from real people. They submitted them to me. I want to thank everyone for submitting your portfolio. Also to smash the button. And if you're a 10Xer type, give a shout out to these people. Give them a thumbs up in the comments. Because it does take a lot of courage. I said this yesterday. It takes a lot of courage to put your work out there, especially because this isn't just like a fantasy portfolio thing. These are real portfolios. These are going to be going out to employers. And having a stranger look at your work and showing it to YouTube is a big deal. So again, thank you developers for trusting me to look over your work. And I hope that some of this feedback is helpful for you and for people in the audience as well. If you're not getting your portfolio reviewed today, hopefully some of these critiques and assessments and items that we go over are helpful. So this is Bihan's portfolio. He is a freelancer, a developer. What else? A student. What else? Freelancer. Okay, freelancer, developer, and student. All right. So we have a one page, top of the fold. What is it? What's the phrase? Above the fold. An above the fold design here. I can't scroll down, which again, totally fine. I'm just so used to it. So this is a nice compact design we have here. The home button, about, skills, journey, and projects. Okay, let's start in the about section. And these are modals. I like what you did here with this. I see. Hello, I'm a second-year student studying BTech with a major in CSE and a software developer with an effective mindset of learning and implementing modern technologies. Vital stats. I have worked on projects based on the web, using latest technologies heading towards the market. I've also gained real-life experience on my domain from full-time internships and contributing to open-source projects. I also indulge myself in competitive programming, thus sharpening my problem-solving skills to apply in real-life situations for quick and optimized solutions. I love this last line. I cannot say it enough, developers. It's about the problem-solving process. And the more you can convince a potential employer that you can solve their problems, the better chance you have at getting a callback, at getting an interview, and getting a job offer. Now, Bihan was very explicit. And this is the one place of everything you do where it's okay to be explicit. Like, really just like putting just the 2x4 over their head, telling people what you do and why you do it, how you do it, the who, what, where, when, why, and how of you and your projects. I indulge myself in competitive programming, not just saying, hey, I'm a competitive programmer, but this person, Bihan, is showing you the result of his competitive programming. It's sharpening his problem-solving skills to apply in real-life situations. For what? For quick and optimized solutions. As an employer, I'm hearing like money signs. I'm like, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. This person can give me quick and optimized solutions. I want to know more. I want to know more. And it comes with this last sentence that is very powerful. And when you're developing these narratives, think about it from an employer's standpoint. What do they want to hear? You guys know that game Apples to Apples? It's a really fun card game. And if you want to win in Apples to Apples, you have to play to the judge. There's, whether you're playing with 3 people or 15, the person who is in charge of the game of awarding points in Apples to Apples is the person you need to impress. And sentences like this are just like Apples to Apples when you're playing to the judge. You're telling people what they like and what they're looking for. So really great job in this sentence. Powerful, extremely powerful. Let's go to skills. Now, we saw a lot of this yesterday, and this is a device I see a lot. I like how you put estimations. So it's not, this fact that I'm 7 A's full on React.js. This is a subjective assessment, and that's okay. But if you're going to be showing this and these levels, then it has to be represented somewhere, either in a project or when we get to an interview. I'm seeing like 7 A's. I'm just gonna estimate here. It's probably like what, more than 7 A's, would you say? Or just about 7 A's. So once this meter gets to the full point here of React.js, what does that mean? Does that mean complete expert? That's where I, as an employer, I'm not seeing it how you're seeing it. So I don't tell developers to take these things out. What I am saying is that for me, they're not really illustrating you as a candidate. It just is showing me your assessment, a subjective assessment of yourself, whereas something a little bit stronger may be, I feel confident in React, or I have X amount of years experience with React, or whatever months in React. You don't have to say the years. Projects speak volumes. And so, if this is all 7 A's full, I'm gonna expect a React app that blows my mind. All right, if I'm seeing Node that 7 A's, maybe even 15 16ths full, I want a Node app that's going to blow my mind. And these things are very hard because they're very difficult to do, because they're a subjective assessment rather than something you can say, rather than something more objective. For example, I've been studying React for 2 years and I've built the following projects. Here were the challenges. Here were my solutions, and here were my results. So these things, again, you want to come from an employer standpoint. What do these actually mean? And do your projects represent near mastery as evidenced in, or as reflected in this chart here? Languages: HTML, CSS, Python, microservices, cloud, DevOps tools. All right, let's see these projects down here. See, we have 4 projects, which is great. Like I said, 4 to 6 projects. I don't know where these projects are going to get. I do know where these projects are going to take me, but I don't know what these projects represent. Memories. Now this one, Tetris, I know. Tic-tac-toe multiplayer, I know. Chatterbot, probably a chat app. I would like more narrative. I would like more introduction, a bigger introduction to these projects, and easing me into them. We have a link here, so let's check this out. This is also on Heroku. Let's see. Heroku. Do they do this on purpose? Does Heroku do this on purpose just to like torment new developers? Also, I know in a lot of these coding boot camps online, they deploy to Heroku because, again, it is free, but this is the cost of it. And again, this is just something I consistently see. It's a portfolio killer. It really is. It's a project killer. Memories. Time moves in one direction, memory in another. Your email and password. This is encrypted, but I'm still I'm not going to interact with that. I want to know what the heck that thing is, especially because I had such an introduction to you as a problem solver. So let's see here. So here is a statement, right? So this is your statement. I indulge myself in competitive programming, thus sharpening my problem-solving skills to apply in real-life situations for quick and optimized solutions. So this is your statement. Now I need to see proof. Now I need to see that statement backed up with some evidence. And as I go into the projects, I'm seeing a little bit of evidence, but it's kind of fuzzy because I don't know how these projects how you used quick and optimized solutions for these projects. And I have no insight into that problem solving process you described so succinctly and wonderfully in your intro. So I would work on that. I would give some more context to these projects. And it's just that Heroku, man, every one of these is going to just take forever to fire up. It's a extremely critical issue for freelance portfolios, but also for people looking for 9-to-5s, because employers, number one, don't have the time to wait for it to render, and number two, they again want to see things. They want to see projects and processes that represent what they're doing, that reflect what they're doing. So I would definitely consider that element as well. Journey. So this is a little bit more about what you're up to, your education. Okay, so kind of like a modified resume. I like it. We have the education section here, certification, professional experience, plus an email tab. Now, this was a little cryptic. Not cryptic, but this was pretty hard for me to see. In fact, I was ready to say, where's your contact form, until I just saw it right now. So I would definitely modify that, get that over here somewhere. And just like with the last portfolio and others I've mentioned, make sure these socials, not so much GitHub, because that's not so much GitHub and LinkedIn, but Insta, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure those socials are of a professional nature and safe for work and reflect positively and kindly upon you. Other than that, great job. Great start. With those tweaks, you're going to have a banging portfolio. All right, let's go to number 43, Charanjit.it. Oh, that one was fast. Charanjit, head of development at MagLabs. Hey, I'm Charanjit. Before becoming head of development at MagLabs, I spent over 15 years as a website and web app developer working across the stack with PHP, MySQL, JavaScript, and CSS. Can I just point out that I just love that these developers with years of experience sent me their portfolio. I'm absolutely flattered. Thank you so much for sharing your portfolio. And again, yesterday I was using air quotes for people with multiple years experience, because as you can see here, these portfolios are really much different than aspiring and junior developer portfolios. And there's many reasons for that. The biggest reason, as we discussed, is that employers are more important, and work history is much more important than side projects or things built by yourself. And as you grow as a developer, your responsibilities change. And so those responsibilities are more reflected in your work and how you design your landing page. I mean, a lot of these developers with multiple years experience, these are effectively just landing pages, just quick one-pagers. Here are my accomplishments. Here's what I've done. Here are my socials. Here's how to contact me. Now, this is a very, very brief intro, which is totally fine. This person has 15 years experience, head of development at MagLabs. I could easily Google this person and probably find lots of accolades, lots of different projects, lots of different name drops all throughout the web. So that's another thing too. People with more years experience on the web have more, just more content and more things on the internet about them at employers' disposal. And especially if, after 15 years, employers are going to be more stringent and more, maybe not more stringent, but definitely do some more vetting, and oftentimes with teams. Whereas with junior developers, it usually is not, relatively speaking, not as intense, depending on the company. But for sure, here in the Midwest, you're going to be seeing more teams, more stringent standards with people with more experience because they have more responsibilities, etc. So that was a sidetrack comment. But what I'm saying is, because of this person's years of experience, I'm not expecting projects. I would like to see. Now this is tough. This is tough because you do have so much experience. I'm not really sure. Like, how would you include this in an application packet? Would you include this just as like a personal page, or like an experience page? It depends. I think it really depends on your goal with this thing, of how I would critique it more. Because no, I mean, like I said before, I'm not expecting projects. And I'm not really sure what more I would like to see on this thing besides a way to get a hold of you. If indeed you're looking for a job at the moment, you do have an emailing list or a monthly newsletter list. So that's good. Things like that. Yeah, once you become more established in the career field, you're doing so many different things, and your side projects change and your goals change. So this is one thing a week. What's that? And here's your experience down here starting in 2005 with your BSc in media technology. Just a quick one column, just boom, 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 boom. Here I was. Do you have a LinkedIn? Maybe like if I was an employer, I'd like to see a LinkedIn and more about what your responsibilities here were. You do list your job title, but some accomplishments would be nice to see. I did review a portfolio yesterday, I think. Was it the State Farm guy that he had some of his accomplishments? I'm not sure. There was one of them where it was just, a few lines of your responsibilities, what you accomplished during your tenure at that company, and things of that nature. Let's see what one thing a week is. What is this thing anyway? Okay. So one thing a week is a weekly blog who's also responsible for SiteJoy, a curated gallery of fast and responsive websites. I would definitely change this because I could not read that. Is there a dark mode here? Yeah, this font was pretty hard for me to read unless I highlighted it. So this is cool. Okay, so this is actually your blog. Sweet. Cool. You can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Insta, Flickr, Dribbble, Dev, CodePen, GitHub, and Stack Overflow. Okay, good. Just like I said with the rest of the developers, though, just make sure some of these more personal platforms, particularly Insta and Twitter, are looking professional. But yeah, thanks for your submission. It's nice to see. It's fun to see developers of different times in grade, if you will, times in service, to use a military term, your time in service. To see how the messaging changes and to see how work experience really takes the place of projects. And like I said, the one thing I would like to see is some responsibilities here. If I was an employer, this is something you sent me to look over. Just a quick thing of, one or two bullet points, your major accomplishments, with some numbers if possible, like increased efficiency 33% or whatever. Plus, it gives me something to talk about during an interview. Thanks for your submission. Number 44, Pourya7.com. Web craftsman. My name is Pourya. Pourya, I'm a senior front-end developer with over 7 years of experience internationally, both in-office and remotely. This was neat. Okay, internationally, I saw the underline. I said, what could this be about? Malaysia, Singapore, Turkey, Iran, Spain, Germany, and USA. Holy crap. In both office and remotely, I help companies build enterprise web apps based on a user-centric strategy with the aim of innovating user experience. All right, cool. Let's talk. Make an appointment on Calendly. I love it. This tells me you're busy. It tells me you're professional. And it gives me control to see your schedule instead of being like, oh, what do I want? When are some good times? When are some good dates and times? Instead of going, this back and forth email tag, I can just reserve an appointment with you. I like that a lot. This is something, the Calendly is something I have not seen with developer portfolios, and I dig it. Good job with that. My resume, where is this going to bring me? To a Google Doc? Not sure I want to click that. There's nothing wrong with the Google Doc. It just, I don't know. I would prefer it to be on site. It's not a make or break. Ooh, dark mode, sweet. I would prefer it to be on site, on this site. But again, not a make or break, just personal preference. Planning, teamwork, and delivery, agile workflow, projects. And we get down to your projects here. So I'm seeing these. These are nice and clean. I like the filter you use to make them consistent. If I click on one, I see a screenshot of it. Some technologies used, React and Redux. But then that's as much as I get. I want to see more. There's so much to talk about with these projects. OCBC Bank, that's kind of a big deal, right? What were your responsibilities? What were your tasks? What were your challenges? And how did you overcome those with these projects? TEB. So I'm not really sure what your responsibilities were, and that's one of my biggest questions right out of the gate. What you're responsible for, and how you implemented these technologies. Maybe not how you implemented them, but why you chose these, and what problems you encountered and how you overcame them. Also, I know these are probably closed source, so do as best as you can with giving the details. But you also have a GitHub link down here, so let's see if that gives any indication of what you're up to. I would also try and now this is how people are. It's the curb appeal thing where it's like, okay, I'm not seeing a lot of these things filled. It doesn't have to be a lot. Go in here, go in some of these, and work on some documentation. Write a line or two. Clean up the comments. Refactor a few lines of code. Nothing doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can be huge projects if you want. But what I'm saying is to get these filled in. 18 contributions in the last year. People who do look at this are looking at this thing. Really, it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. But because it is a first impression, and other people, you're competing against other people who do have this thing filled, you don't want to be the person beneath the person who has this thing filled, right? Like, again, it comes down to the margins. And this is one of those things where it is a small thing where it can be a difference between you getting priority over a different candidate if this is filled up a little more. Doesn't have to be crazy. Again, you can go, even these files right here, put something in here. Yeah, you can even just start putting some files in or pushing some of these projects. Maybe you have that haven't gone on GitHub yet. Something like this. So this is the other thing too. We talked about this yesterday, getting these repos. If you're going to be sharing your GitHub link and your GitHub repos with potential employers, make sure that these things, it's just a curb appeal thing. It's a first impression thing where I'm seeing the last time you were active with this project was 3 years ago. And if that's going to be your featured project, it's got to be a little more timely because so much has changed. We also want to see that you're busy with development. Obviously, so you have 7 years experience, right? And that is more important. Talking about your experience is going to be more important than what you're doing on these GitHub repos. But also, too, because you are including the link there, I want to see something. You know what I mean? Also, LinkedIn, cool, great. Probably some information about you there as well, I would presume, because that's what LinkedIn is for. So the options down there. Also, if possible, is there other ways we can get in touch with you besides the calendar? What if people just want to shoot you a quick email? Is that a possibility? Could we have a contact form down here? Maybe a phone number if that's something you're comfortable with. Absolutely don't feel pressure to, though. I like this design a lot. These projects are good. The projects, they're big deals, right? Like these are seemingly big projects, but just a little bit of context. But again, because you have 7 years experience, the work that you've done, the list of your employers is going to be more important than your projects. But it looks like some of these projects are based on your employers. I'm not sure. And because this goes to a Google Doc, I would just prefer it on page. So this looks great. Just a few tweaks needed and some updates with your GitHub I would recommend, just for that curb appeal, just to give you that competitive edge. Thanks for your submission. Let's check out laurelmccaffrey.com. Now, before I even clicked on this portfolio, I had a good impression. Why? Because this person used their name as the domain name. And we talked about this yesterday. I know I've said that 80 times already, but it is something we came across yesterday where, as someone who wants to impress an employer, you want to do it as early as possible. If you can impress an employer before they even click on a link, do that. Definitely do that. So this person, they upgraded. They paid not only for a custom domain, but they paid for their name. And so that's good. I like it. So I'm a full stack software engineer and art nerd. If I'm not in front of a computer science or a piece of art, you can find me outside hiking, biking, or practicing yoga. Here is Laurel's tech stack. Name down here. This is an interesting layout. I like this layout. It's different. The font is nice and big. I know a lot of people are sometimes scared to make these fonts bigger, but it really is an accessibility issue. It's also just a general good practice because you don't want people squinting. Depending on how far away they are from their computer, it can be hard to read this size 10 font that's people sometimes put, and they're trying to save space. But these bigger fonts are better practice all around. So work, we have solo, highlights, and group. And let's see here. So is there a way for me to see everything? I'd like to see all projects in one fell swoop. Because in this format, I can toggle through 3. But I'm not sure which one is the strongest one. Like, which is the strongest project? And I feel like with this layout, you're almost giving me too much control, and there's too much for me to click. And I found myself trying to make too many decisions too quickly and like deliberating where I should start. And I think a more focused journey for the user would be a better user experience. So let me go here about where does this take me? Does it take me to Okay, so this is highlights, right? Okay, I think now I'm getting where you're going with this. When I first looked at it though, I didn't interpret this as like the primary project area. I just assumed these all 3 were just like 3 different things like equally weighted. But because if I go back to work, if I go here, it starts on highlights, and I'm assuming these are the highlighted projects, right? These are the ones you're most proud of. So we'll start on this one. I'm just going to click it. Now, normally I wouldn't, but we want to see some projects, right? So I'm going to click it. Then it goes to Tree Trends 2.0. Users can locate trees on the New York City streets near them for stewardship opportunities and email the trees information. That's really neat. My bachelor's is in environmental science, and one of my research topics was urban greenery. And also, my master's is in public policy, and I did a lot of work in environmental policy. So this is definitely something I have an interest in because one of my topics that I studied in research was urban greenery, and this fits the bill. So this is really neat. And it's something that's... So this is an example. Let's say I was an employer. Let's say I'm just a small business owner. Maybe it's let's say it's a nonprofit. Let's say I own or operate a nonprofit for urban greenery in New York City, and this is what you submitted to me. I would be very impressed. Why? Because these projects speak to me, and these projects cater to me, and these projects reflect what I'm looking for in my own work that someone else is going to help me with, right? Like you as the developer is going to help me with. So when you're doing these projects, so this is what I mean though. These projects here, all three of these are tree projects. Tree trends. So let's see, tree trends 2.0, tree trends, and then we have tree trends mobile. Okay, so is tree trends, so that I'm assuming this is 1.0 compared to 2.0, right? So what's the difference? Besides just like the 1.0 designation or presumed designation of this being, is this like a deprecated version? Can I still use this? Like what are, I think the issue I'm seeing here is that there isn't enough information for me to discern. Number one, where is like the Mac Daddy project? You know what I mean? Like, where should I start here? What's the project you want me to see? And number two, because these three projects are named the same. So this is the mobile version, right? Users can locate trees on the New York City streets near them for stewardship opportunities on mobile. Okay. So that's mobile, but then what is the difference between these two? This is from 2015, and this is from I don't know which year. I think some differentiation here, and also the way it's laid out. I find myself kind of clicking like, okay, so here's 2.0, and then where was I? Maybe just, now again, I know I mentioned this a lot, but I don't like giving suggestions for certain implementations. I just like sharing things that I've noticed and picked up with the first impressions of the portfolio and some of these projects. But I did find myself toggling here and be like, okay, so should I use this one or what? I do like that you have the code here as well. So there's demo and GitHub. One thing too, and this is a tough one too, and this is something I've seen with other portfolios, is that with modals and with taking me to different places on this site, notice that the about section, the work, the contact, and the resume, that the URL is the same. So no matter where I'm going, let's say if I wanted to share this, if let's say this project absolutely speaks to me, Tree Trends 2.0, and I want to share it with someone, I'm not able to share the specific URL. And this is like pretty low priority, honestly, because most employers aren't going to be like, hey, Janet, I'm going to DM you the Tree Trends 2.0. Like, they're more concerned with looking over your projects. Are we going to contact this person instead of, trying to share these projects on Pinterest? So, but this is just something I've noticed too with the URL structure. And I know that's kind of a big project, like having to redo that architecture and stuff. But again, I just throw out things that I notice. So if you want to address that, cool. If not, it's not a make or break. Contact form, great, encrypted, awesome. Resume on page. Resume is on site. I'm loving it. You also have the download option. This is what I'm wanting to see for the developers who I've been lecturing. Hopefully I haven't been too naggy about it. But I love that this resume is just like, I love when resumes are right on page. They're right on. I can read it. If I want to download it as a PDF or whatever, I can. I have the option. I like options, but I also like people showing me exactly what I need to see without thinking about it. When I visited this portfolio, I didn't have to think about hardly anything until I got to the portfolio section. And I think this, above anything else, does need just a little more attention with maybe some context too. I would love to see what challenges you faced, especially with this tree app. Now, again, I'm biased because I have an interest in this sort of thing, in urban greenery, but I also, as an employee, if it doesn't matter if I'm biased, because as an employer, it wouldn't matter, right? Like, employers are going to be employers. And if you're sending this out, again, let's say if I was a nonprofit, and of course I'm going to be biased, I'm going to prefer these projects, but I want to know more. I want to know more instead of, here's one line of it, and like, okay, like I'm getting hyped for it. Where's the process? What challenges did you face? What was the problem? How did you address it? Again, that PAR method, it's something I talk about in my course, How to Get a Job in Web Development. It's also a book. If you want to check that out, I get into it. This is, I like that too. I like these thumbnails. I'm thinking though, with these modals, you do have some space over here. I don't know. It's totally up to you. This layout is definitely unique though. So it is novel in that sense. But I do think at the very least, there needs to be more of a descriptive narrative with these projects. Thanks for the submission. Good job. All right, number 46, Michael Gregorian. I use bare HTML, CSS, and JavaScript because I didn't want to use any framework. Right on, Michael. And you know what? That note is very illustrative right off the bat, because the truth is, lots of developers don't assess the project before they start using a technology. They see React and they say, let's build everything with React, when the best practice is to assess the project and see if you actually need all those bells and whistles in the first place. So props to you for that good impression. Also, another domain name that is custom. Let's see what you're all about. Michael, you're 15? Wow, we've had a few 15-year-olds and other teenagers submit their portfolios. This is just great to see. Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a 15-year-old programming enthusiast. Bada bing, bada boom. He tells us all about who he is, what he does in those few short words. Here are his socials, his links, random projects from GitHub. Now, you're 15, so I don't know how interested you are in employment, but when I approach these projects or approach these portfolios, I approach them from an employment standpoint. So a few suggestions I can just give you quickly is to keep your socials on the bottom here, preferably in the footer. Also, the contact me links. So you have links. This GitHub is also right here. So that's a little redundant. Contact me. That usually comes later. Button clicker. Have no idea what that is, so I'm not going to click that. Going down to your projects, random projects from GitHub. Now, from an employer standpoint, you want to have projects that are your best, your most prized possessions, and you have 5 here, which is a just sweet spot number, really sweet spot for that amount of projects. But your C++ noob, right on, a simple contact crud at me with Kotlin. I like how the projects, kind of like how that the developer earlier had those cards with the amount of stars and the amount of forks and whatnot. I like this. If you built these projects, now some of these aren't web development projects, so they're going to be hard to demo, but screenshots, GIFs, I've seen one portfolio last year had YouTube demonstrations for every project. Those that project today, a year later, sticks out in my head. So something to illustrate these projects. But you're 15. Congratulations. This is really exciting to see. You're very busy with projects. And this is something that developers sometimes ask me about, like, is it okay to include my own portfolio as a project? Absolutely. And why is that? Because your portfolio is solving a real problem. And those types of projects are worth so much more than projects you get from a course that 5 million other people have done. There is only one, Michael Gregorian, who's a 15-year-old programming enthusiast. So he's building this site for him for a real purpose. You know what I mean? Whereas something like an image gallery in a popular coding course, that does have a purpose, but it's been built literally a million times. And so it's not really solving a unique problem, and it's not solving a non-unique problem. It's not solving any problem. It's creating code that's already in existence. And this one, conversely, is a project that is unique. So absolutely. And if you want to, if that's something you wanted to start with, we've been talking a lot about narratives and showing employers your problem solving process and some of the challenges and stuff. Absolutely take some influence from what you've seen today, what we've talked about today, but you're off to a great start. I love that you have your own domain name. You might even consider getting a custom email, michael@michaelgregorian.com. That's always really powerful. The contact me, I don't know where that's going to take me. So I'm not going to, okay, well, do I know? No, I don't know. What's that going to do? And just maybe giving some user feedback to what's going to happen after I click that button, because I don't see a contact form here. So something to think about. Great start. Good job. Number 47, Rajat. RajatM.netlify.app, another Netlify application. How's everyone doing out there? It's 2:00 already. We are smoking through these portfolios today. Like I said, I'm probably going to go to 55 or 56, and then we'll bang out the rest tomorrow for the final day of Portfoliocon 2021. I want to give a special shout out to all my subscribers on this live stream today. Thanks for tuning in. Near and far. We did have a beverage malfunction earlier on in this live stream. Thankfully, I swiftly tended to it, but I'm out of beverage, so I might need to take a break in a few minutes and get a fresh fizzy drink, because all this talking makes me pretty parched. Somebody the other week told me, we need to talk about your smoking problem. I'm like, dude, I don't smoke. This is what happens when you talk a lot. Like, you get a little raspy. You try talking 4 hours straight, see what happens. Even an hour straight, you get a little raspy. Anyways, I'm going to slide out of this couch. We are at RTC's couchmobile right now. And I'm going to slide out and get a beverage, and I'll be right back, all right? And then maybe we'll do a giveaway. Maybe we'll do Caleb Curry's machine learning, intro to machine learning. So stay tuned for that. Sonic can keep you company. Sonic, take it away. Ooh. Pina fraise, is that how you say it? Pineapple strawberry LaCroix. Ooh, it's fresh out the freezer. Yum. All right, let's give away another course courtesy of codebreakthrough.com. This is Caleb Curry's learning platform. He's a great instructor. He saved my butt again. When I was learning DB2, my senior developer at the time pulled up a YouTube video, and it just so happened to be Caleb Curry's DB2 series. So please, I don't know please what? If you're interested in intro to machine learning, a course by the one, the only Caleb Curry, his website is codebreakthrough.com. I was going to do some trivia, but I think that the point and say the winner is a lot easier on my part. And also, I don't even know what I would ask you all for trivia. Like, I don't know. Because I know we have a lot of non-web developers here today. So, because I was going to do like a CSS trivia question or like a JavaScript trivia question, but we'll keep it simple. All right. The numbers in the live chat, now that it's under control, now that we have like the one entry per household policy, it's a lot more manageable. So paradoodly-doo, get ready, because we're going to announce the instructions for this course. If you'd like to win a free copy or free entrance into Caleb Curry's course, Intro to Machine Learning, I need you to put a 2 in the live chat right now. One time only. One time. Do not put the number 2 into the chat twice, because you'll be disqualified. Just once. All right. And I'll give you all a few more seconds to get those 2s in. Get the 2s in. Get the 2s in for this prize. All right. Thanks, Caleb, for the prizes. And if you have not won a prize after this, if you didn't win a prize yesterday, you didn't win a prize today, don't worry. Tomorrow we're giving away some grande prizes. And when I say grande, I mean grande. I'm talking about a year subscription to RealToughCandy.io, okay? I'm talking about a year subscription to ZeroToMastery.io that is Andre Nagoy's platform, and I'm talking about another copy of Portfolio Surgery. We're giving away 3 prizes tomorrow, and 2 of those are absolute monster prizes for the conclusion of Portfoliocon 2021. Now, this is Portfoliocon 2021 just kind of came to me. I was just like, I have nearly 70 submissions here. Let's make it into a 3-day event. There was no way I could do it in just one day. So by the time next year rolls along for Portfoliocon 2022, I'm thinking we're going to have a ton of sponsors, tons of prizes. I want to have like $10,000 worth of cash prizes. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be big. So if you know somebody in the tech world who wants to sponsor Portfoliocon next year, I mean, I know it's kind of a long ways away, but I'm just putting it out there now. If you all are enjoying this and you find it useful, there's no reason why we shouldn't do it next year, right? Really make it big. Maybe it could even be an in-person thing, like an actual in-person con. How dope would that be? But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll crunch the numbers and see how that pans out. In the meanwhile, we're going to give away this course. Let's see the twos. Let's see the twos. So I'm going to scroll. Let's see. Not very many people entered this one. Come on. Where's the twos at? Where's the twos? Where's the twos? Here we go. All right. There's not very many, but I'm going to scroll up and down. I'm going to point just like old school, and I'm not going to look. Okay. Here it is. Number 2, Mohammed Kushab Alam. You are the lucky winner of Caleb Curry's intro to machine learning. Hit me up right now, realtoughcandy@gmail.com. And I will CC you later tonight with all the deets. So Caleb can hook you up with that course. Congratulations. If you registered again and did not win a prize today or yesterday, do not worry. We have special pricing on Portfolio Surgery. It's $9.99 the entire duration of Portfoliocon 2021. It is going to show you 5 methods for completely transforming your portfolio. Have some amazing feedback on that course. And the results are instantaneous. Like, seriously, my courses, people who have taken my courses will tell you, I do not waste your time. I get right to it, and I am focused on results. It is not tutorial purgatory, tutorial hell, tutorial heaven. I don't put you through that crap. I give you actionable stuff you can use right away. So check that out. Also, tomorrow we got 2 big Kahuna prizes, so don't you worry about that, as well as giving away a copy of Portfolio Surgery. Let's get back to it. Who are we at? Number 47, Rajat M. .netlify.app, a web developer. Get in touch. Here's the about you. Here are your projects. Here are your skills. Blog posts. Good. Get in touch. All right. Let's see. The first thing I saw was I saw the mobile styling, and I was kind of wondering about that, if that was intentional, just like mobile everywhere, because I do see the hamburger menu sometimes in full desktop mode. And there's nothing wrong with it. I was like, what's this? And I was wondering what the benefit was. Like, what's the benefit compared to just having it like this? You know what I mean? I almost think this looks better and it's more convenient. Because, again, going back to what am I getting into when I click this? If it was truly in mobile mode, then absolutely I can see why this would be a necessity. But because there isn't any real information right here, I don't know why you couldn't just do it like that. I think that even, and if you wanted to like do these like in a vertical fashion or something, just to make it more symmetrical, I think this is much more accessible as a reviewer and as a potential employer and just someone, as just like a general user. And it kind of fills out the rest of the space, because this gradient is looking a little lonely with just, I am Rajat, a web developer, get in touch. Yeah, that's just my first impression of that. Get in touch too. I would say, if possible, have a contact form. I know with like static site, again, this was the problem I had too, because I used Jekyll, which is a static site generator. embedding a contact form at the time was difficult because like it involves backend code, and this is for static sites. But there are services that will forward you mail. It uses their server, and you just use a little bit of code, a little bit of JavaScript, front end, just stick it in the HTML somewhere inside the document, and it will forward it to your Gmail address or whatever address it is. So that way they can use the contact form on a static site without you having to like use any type of backend stuff or, you know, paying $30 for a service. I forget the name of it. There was one in particular where it was just really convenient. It was literally just 1 or 2 lines of code you could just paste into your body of code. But that would be very helpful. Going down here, about me, I'm a passionate software developer who loves to build and design applications for the web. I'm an undergraduate engineering student based in Bangalore. I have experience developing full stack applications ranging from SPAs to progressive web apps. I also enjoy writing, and I regularly post articles on topics related to web development on my blog. Great. The fact that I can convert an idea to an actual entity through my code is what excites me the most about the development process. You can scroll down and take a look at some of my recent projects. As we scroll down here, we have 3 projects, which is fine. Like again, I normally suggest 4 to 6, but if these are banging projects, 3 is fine. It's a manageable number. Now, as I go over here, what am I seeing? I'm seeing a video demonstration sped up of this app. I thought this was a neat feature. Going over here, also too, this is a GIF. Actually, it's not a GIF. It is a GIF, but it's longer than I thought it was. And then this one is Tetris. So this one is called Just Blog It, presumably. A MERNstack app, blogging app with social login and user authentication. This is an installable PWA with over 60 users registered. Nice. Okay, so can I click? Okay. That's going in Heroku too. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we've seen the issues with Heroku. I don't need to go over it again. We're going to wait for it. But just as you noticed, it wasn't as long as it has been with some of these, but it was a little bit of a wait. All right, cool. So you had mentioned down here, this is an installable progressive web app with over 60 users registered. What were some challenges you faced with this project? And what are some things, you have 60 users registered. I would like to see a case study or some assessments, your take on the project. Now that this is a real world project, right? Like 60 people, if these people are real, I want to know about that experience because so you're a newer developer, right? Undergrad engineering student. Oh, you're still a student and you already have a project with 60 users. That's a big deal. Most developers don't have projects of this caliber where they have deployed projects that people are using. And so I think this needs more attention needed to it because it's a very big deal and there's a lot to talk about, right? 60 people, there's a lot of ways you can indulge your potential employer with the narrative you choose. And I like this responsiveness right here as I hover over the GitHub character. And it goes, the Octocat turns into view GitHub repo for people who may not know what the heck is going on down here. It shows you. So here's the repo. Here is some information on it. We went through a really nice repo earlier where there were screenshots, there were features, there was a change log. I think there was a change log. It looked really professional. This is a great start. But since seeing that repo, now I'm comparing other repos to that one. And this is how the game goes because you're competing against other developers as well. And when I'm seeing this, I'm saying to myself, this looks good. I like that there are these bullet points about what it's all about. But maybe just some more organization with it, like features, challenges, users, changelog information, something. The problem we did have with that one was that it wasn't on page. It wasn't on the portfolio. So there's no guarantee that your potential employer is going to see it. I'm just saying, now that I've seen some other competition, I am comparing this to the one previously that we went over. But this is a great start. There's certainly nothing wrong with it. But again, it's all about outdoing your competition to get that callback. The second project, a sorting visualizer to visualize, bubble sort, insertion sort, merge sort, quick sort. It's built in React and is an installable PWA. That is a really cool one. I'd be curious to know more about this project. This was on Netlify, so this did load lightning fast. So that was good. Very good with that. And down here, I can manipulate this and select my sort. So we'll do merge sort. That's really neat. And this one, Tetris. Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is just, I want to know more about it, especially this one, because you have 60 users. Again, that's a big deal. And I don't think this project should be minimized in the least. Like, you need to start bragging about this thing if 60 people are using it, or at least 60 people have registered. I want to know more. Skills, blog posts, great. Again, we talked about the importance of communication and teamwork and all that kind of stuff. These things that sometimes get pushed to the side, but they're very important nonetheless. So good job with including this. And this is from September 20th. It's January 2021. And this is from August. It's not ancient history, especially with these things. Like, sorting algorithms are always going to be sorting algorithms, but if possible, try and get a more updated post, especially as the months go on. Like, if you start sending this out to employers in June of 2021, these are going to be nearly a year old. Just want something a little more updated. And this is something also I mentioned with other portfolios. As soon as you level up with projects, switch them out. Now, this is lots to brag about with this one. This is a really cool one too. Tetris is something I do see quite often. And having something in here is better than nothing. However, as we discussed earlier, this is a problem that's been solved many times over. And there needs to be some sort of hook or some feature or something that makes it different in order for it to be notable and noticeable. So when you're working on and again, these things are not permanent. Projects are not permanent, and it's never too early to start putting projects into a portfolio. I know a lot of people who haven't even started a portfolio, and I want to say, please start your portfolio. It doesn't have to be any certain thing. You know what? It's continuously changing. It doesn't have to be a permanent thing. You could just start by reserving a domain name. That's a great start too. But what I'm saying is these things represent us as we develop and as we start getting better with our skills. We need to start we got to start upgrading and switching out some of these things and adding to these lists and so on. This is not a set it and forget it type of document. This thing's changing all the time. Get in touch. Again, something that is really hard with static sites, that contact form, but just make it as easy as possible for people to contact you. Thanks for your submission. Good job. Let's go to number 48. Nikhil M. Warrior.github.io. Hi, I'm Nikhil. I'm a passionate web developer and a believer in open standards. Very simple, very to the point. Nikhil, I think we know what you got to do here, my friend. We need some more projects. Got to fill these up. Let's see 4 to 6. In the meantime, let's check out this one. Fluid CSS frameworks and component library for developers and rapid prototypers. Did you build this? Is this yours? What? Hold on here. Nikhil. Fluid CSS, a CSS library for rapid prototypers. I gotta know more about this. And not just how to start it. If this is indeed something that you built, I need to know all about this thing. this is an example. This is a big deal, right? This is like a big thing. This is a real world project. People can start using it. You have documentation, which is great for sharing your communication skills. Very clean, very nice, quick start guide, topography, scaffolding. This is neat. I'm going to look over this for a minute. This project is unique, very unique. It's real world. It solves a problem. I would say if it's going to take a lot of work and it is a risk, but if you went all out and really focused on a case study type layout for this project, you could get away with just this one project. I know it's a risk, but if this is something you've worked on for months, and if this is something that you've created, I mean, this needs a process. This needs challenges. This needs so much. There's so much to talk about with this. It's really exciting. But something like a case study. What was your motivation for building this? What problem does it solve? How does it compare to other CSS libraries for rapid prototyping? And what are the similarities? What are some similarities with other libraries? And why is that a good thing? What are some features and benefits? Having that sort of narrative would just bring this to a completely new height. This is the type of project that is absolutely wonderful to see, because not only are you taking initiative to create something unique, this is actually something people can start using. So this isn't about, whoa. All right. I need that fixed. What about this thing? Okay. And that brings you to your portfolio, and then contact. That is going to go to your Gmail account. So one thing I would do, Fluid CSS, if this is, I would try and upgrade this to like fluidcss.io or something. I know IOs are a little pricier than .coms, but if you have the means, definitely I would upgrade to the IO. .com works perfectly well too, but I'm saying for like the full Mamba Jamba effect, try for IO. Get your own, even if you end up adding more projects to your portfolio, make this the star of the show. If you have a better project than this, holy crap. But this for sure, we need much more information on this. This is an exciting project, and I want to know more about the background of it, really. I'm compelled. This is a really neat idea. And to take something of this this level for you to undertake is a big deal too. Contact form, as we've discussed, would be a big benefit, as we discussed in many of these. The other benefit too is that once you get its own domain, you can put your name in front of it. And that is just so authoritative. Nikhil at fluidcss.io. Like, how rad does that sound? That's very authoritative. And it sounds like you're the boss, you know? So great freaking start here. I'm excited to see what you do with this and how you make it come to life even more. Thanks for the submission. Next, we have Krish, devkrish.tech, made with React, number 49. Let's see what's going on with Krishna. Okay, Krishna is a UI UX designer and full stack developer. I like this font a lot. It reminds me of open source conferences. I don't know what font it is, but whatever it is, I could probably check, but I'm not gonna. I like it. It establishes a certain mood, and it looks professional. It looks nice with this one too. Normally, we did see this issue yesterday with a few portfolios where we had multiple fonts used, sometimes 3 and 4 fonts. This person is using 2. They're very different, and I think they complement each other very wonderfully. They look good. They look professional, and because you're a UI UX designer, that needs to be emphasized, and that takes more importance than anything. These elements when it comes to the user experience and the user interface. Is this part of the font? Because I know there's a space between the dash. Sometimes these fonts act funky like that, but just closing that up to be UI/UX instead of space UX, I think would add to the professionalism here. About me, hello world, I'm Krish, a software engineer from Chennai, India. I love to design and code. I build high quality apps for the web. I concentrate on writing clean and understandable code. Currently, I'm pursuing my undergrad degree in computer science. I love to work in a team other than coding. I'm passionate about astronomy and bicycling. I like to cook in my leisure time. Me too. Me too. I love cats. Me too. And adore all pet animals. Me too. Me too. Krish, we have so much in common. Like, astronomy, though, is a new one for me. This last sentence is 100. I'm a total foodie. Everything related to food or cooking, like, just gives me swirly eyes in these portfolios. Someone had a pizza app the other day, and I about lost my mind. Skills. Look at all these skills. This is nice. No, because this is... What's this one? Is this the less... which one is this? Which icon? What? I don't know if I know that one. I thought, is this a SAS one or a less one? Not sure. Some of these, you know what would be helpful is that even though most of these are familiar with me, most of these I am familiar with, rather. I don't know what some of these are. Is this Figma? This is Firebase, right? Or is that GitLab? I would like to see some indication and some more feedback. And because you are emphasizing UI, UX design, having this a little more accessible, I think would be helpful. Just like a tooltip that would pop up as soon as I hover over these. Like, obviously, as developers, we know this is HTML5, right? But some of these had me guessing. Like this one, I don't know what this one is. GraphQL, Postgres, right? MySQL. I don't know what this bird is. Next, Express, React, etc. And this is assuming other employers know what most of these are too. Some employers might not be familiar with a lot of these. So it'd just be helpful to have some more information on that. Here are your socials. I'm not sure if this is the best place for socials. I'd put those somewhere more in a more traditional place like you have down here. I'm just not sure of the benefit or the purpose these serve right here in the skills section. My projects. Now, this was a very unique way of setting these up. I do like the arrangement of them. And as I was going through it, very readable, emphasis on the UX and UI here. As you can see, these little tweaks and these little additions that emphasize the experience. Going through it, as I was trying to read, it was this AUBIT unofficial website. Now, I appreciate what you're trying to do here because I know it's hard to put in a picture of the entire page in this little box here. So you have a really novel approach, and I really like it. The issue I did come across when reading this was that my eyes were jumping here. And in fact, I was like probably around here. So as I'm reading this, there are 3 things in my screen that are moving. And so unless I zoomed in, it was really hard for me to focus on what you were talking about. And this is really important information, right? This is like describing what this project is. Also, my computer is very annoyed. So I'm not sure how much, how intensive these things are, how taxing they are on my machine right now, on my browser. So something maybe to look at. This could be, maybe my computer's mad because I'm live streaming and have like other things going on in the background. I'm not really sure. But that was the big thing, and especially important to address because, again, you are emphasizing your UX UI design skills. And as I hit this one right here specifically, I was having a not so optimal experience. So there are multiple ways that could be addressed. So I'm interested to see what you come up with that. Other projects, I really like this too. As we've seen in other portfolios, sometimes developers will put many projects on here. The featured projects here are at a very manageable 4. That's awesome. Just the right amount. And then your overflow projects you have here. And not only that, as I scroll over them, it indicates I can click on it and there's a drop down, which links me to the repo and to the link. I thought this was a fabulous addition. Great job with this. I have not seen this in other portfolios. It's novel in a positive way. And it shows me that you're busy and building different things. And there are just this simple explanations of what the projects are. Now, because these are kind of a side note, you don't need narratives. You don't need parse statements. This is just kind of emphasizing. This is serving as supporting documentation of what you do. Also, this was another great element that it really, I felt was just very nicely implemented. GitHub stats visualized, showing your contributions each day in this chart. GitHub profile, and all these numbers here, assuming they update whenever you update on GitHub. So that's really cool to see. I don't have to, and again, going back to that thing about not making your reviewer or your potential employer work too hard, you're bringing me the information rather than me having to go find it. That's a big deal. That's very important. That's a very important consideration with the user experience. You want to bring your user, your potential employer, everything they need and put it on their lap. Do not make them come to you for information. You want to give them everything they need and you want to provide it to them. The less work they do, the better it is. And so this is this kind of stuff right here is all on one page. I really enjoyed it. The biggest thing I think, not only let's check out. So the biggest thing were these moving things all at once. These 3 moving cards. I haven't really checked out the projects though. College Mate. Let's just check it out. It's on Heroku. That actually loaded really fast. All right, cool. Let's check this one out too. LeetCode Time Tracker, a Chrome extension to keep track of the problem solved and the time taken to solve each problem in LeetCode. I worked on the UI of the extension. Good. That emphasizes and reiterates the fact that you're a UI UX guy. So good job on this. Thank you for your submission. Great job. Let's check out the next portfolio. Number 50, Young Addy at griffsportfolio.netlify.app. Hi, I'm Griffin Domino, freelance web developer for small businesses. Okay, awesome. That's what I started out doing as well. So this niche is near and dear to my heart. Before I was working in enterprise, I went out on my own and was working for small businesses and working with them and building their sites. So this is exciting to see. Let's see down here. Follow me on these social outlets. I can personalize my theme right here. I'm gonna test these out, but I'm not gonna get too crazy. I'm gonna stick with the default here. More about me. I love learning new things and teaching those concepts. If I can make a website, you can too. Help me reach out to your child or children who have trouble knowing what their career path is. Look what I know one day at a time with the tech you've been using. Recent deploys, custom tees by Mo and Joe. All right, so you have a project here, a real world project. It says Black-owned family business that customizes your apparel and accessories with vinyl. Check it out here. So this is great. This is the thing that clients want to see. They want to see what you're capable of. They want to see your previous work. They want to be able to scroll through this stuff and see what it's all about. So having that there front and center is awesome. One thing I will say though, as developers, we know what this stuff is. But because you're a freelancer catering to smaller businesses, most small businesses, unless they're doing software stuff, aren't going to know what this stuff is. So I would suggest it's okay to put these emblems and these logos on these sites. I've seen it before multiple times where freelancers, they'll say the tools that they work with, but having some sort of explanation as to what these are, because most small business owners are going to see this and see a 5. They're going to say 53JS. What the heck does that mean? So having some explanation, what these things do, and maybe an example of what you do with it. Maybe just like a little segment of saying HTML5 is for XYZ. It works with CSS3, and CSS does this, and that. And then I use JavaScript to do this, and you can see an example of this right here. You could even take it a step further and have like a screenshot from this project illustrating some of these technologies. The JavaScript is going to be a little more difficult to illustrate, but there are ways to do it. And then you have a contact form here, which is great. This is encrypted. Down here, made with love by Yungaddy, and linked to your Instagram. So ideally, this would go to an Instagram that reinforces your status as a small business web developer. Instagram is a great social for small businesses. It's great. It's a great social for people who are catering to small businesses, and it can be a good lead magnet. Make sure that if this is indeed being used for recruiting leads, that you have your portfolio or this page linked in your bio. That's the one thing that really stinks about Insta, is that you can only use one link, but make that link count. Make that link count. I would also like to see, so freelance sites, they're a perfect opportunity to have feature case studies. And a case study is basically a modified version of the PAR statement, which is problem, action, and result. You met with this client. What were the challenges they faced? What did you guys talk about? Without giving away trade secrets or you talking too much about it. You don't want this person to be like, hey, I told you this thing in confidence. Just general things of technical issues you encountered, and some numbers. If you're able to show some numbers or some before and after pics, like, did these people have any internet presence before you built Custom Tees by Mo and Joe? Like, did they have a Facebook page? And if they did, what were the results? What were the benefits of them upgrading to this site that you built for them? Because again, going back to how employers want to see things that are going to benefit them. So when you can say, when I built this site, they actually increased their traffic by 80% over a 3-month period. Like, those are some big numbers, and they don't have to be like mind-blowing numbers, just some positive results. If you can get numbers, those are always beneficial. But if you don't have stats, or if the stats are negligible at the moment, just get some general positives. Like, they love this site. Now they have a permanent home on their own server, stuff like that. But the numbers, the conversion rates and analytics and stuff. And if you don't have analytics on this site, try and get it on there so you can start measuring the growth over the months, because you can take responsibility for that, especially if you're continuing to maintain the site. I think this is a great start, though. Always want to have examples of previous work. If you can, also get some social proof. We did see a website earlier today that had some really great examples of that. As I mentioned, it's a $1 million thing where someone who owns a business can say to the world, I trust Yungaddy I trust him to make my site, and he completely delivered. I love his work. And I'm so satisfied. I recommend him to anyone. That is it can be worth literally $1 million. So contact Mo and Joe. Tell them you need some positive feedback. Ask them if they would be so kind to give you a kind word. And as you work with more clients and they tell you they're satisfied with your work, try and get that social proof. And every time you get some social proof, stick it in here for sure. The more, the better. We saw earlier there was someone who had a gallery of social proof. Very powerful. Great start. You're on the right track with this. Just getting those things in there is going to be a huge, huge improvement. And I'm looking forward to what you do with your business. Good luck with everything. Freelancing is a trip, to say the least. I wouldn't go back to a 9 to 5 for being self-employed. No way. I love what I do right now. Less freelancing, less working with clients than previously. But being self-employed is awesome. So let's talk about number 51, Hussein. HusseinKins.netlify.app. Another freaking Netlify app. All right. Let's go check it out. Uniqueness sets me apart. I like this font, by the way. It's kind of 70s-esque. From branding, UX design, UI design, logo design to websites, my front end is always unique, bold, and original. I can deliver quality, authentic designs to all types of clients with any given needs and schedule. I am Hussein Kiz, a visual engineer. I like this intro. I think to make it a little more readable, maybe consider doing like a bullet point list, because you're doing a lot of stuff here. Branding, UX design, each one of these elements is so important, and it's so just the little pops, like branding, UX design, UI design, logo design, boom, 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 boom. And to have the structure a little more readable, I think would be a benefit. It doesn't have to be a bullet point, but I do think that there is so much information on here that it's hard for me to appreciate every bit of it as I'm reading the line, because these are heavy words. You know what I mean? Like UX design, big deal. UI design, big deal. Logo designs, big deal. Websites, big deal. And you can deliver quality, authentic designs. These are all big things. From being an entrepreneur and a writer, I like the visual hierarchy. Aside from that, though, I like that there are these little sections of narrative getting more into what you do. From being an entrepreneur and writer, I'm also a 20-year-old community top programmer who loves solving real-world problems and collaborating on projects. A hustler open for any gigs in the field or any role in an exciting company. Very comfortable with HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, some modern frameworks. Again, a lot of stuff here. I think one of the things too that kind of distracted me as a reader was every word was capitalized. Maybe consider going a little more conventional with that, just because, number one, there are a lot of big heavy words here, and number two, it does interrupt my reading just a little bit trying to read these lines. And then going down here, a man of action seldom speaks but shows. Okay, he's talking about it, but now he's going to be about it with these projects. 2020, including the Dev Index, Tie and Dye, School Free, and a developer community I'm creating called Multi-Teams, and others to come like Dev and Knit, Selly, and Styly. And I have tried to show you some of these mentioned below. Ooh, I like this. I like what you did here with this card. So this is a great way of saving space. I know space is always an issue, and getting the most information in as possible with these portfolios is a challenge. But notice here that it creates the illusion of a card, and on the other side of the card is the information. I really like how you did that. It's very easy to read. Tie and Dye, an artistic CSS library that brings all cool CSS tricks into your designs. What? I want to try this one out. I would say maybe even consider making these photos a little darker. Do you have a filter, like a CSS filter on these? Or how did you achieve that effect? Whatever you did, I would just dial it down even more, because this is let me brighten up my computer a little. This is just a little too bright. This photo is just a little too, it's just competing a little too much with the text. Not by a lot, but this is a lot easier to read compared to the front of the card. Let's check out the CSS library on Netlify. Okay, this was a fast load. That's great. This was like an instantaneous load. Let's go to documentation. Welcome to Tie and Dye, the first mega and very artistic fancy CSS library that brings all the legendary CSS tricks in your designs free and open source. Learn more about it below or feel free to contribute. Okay, this is neat. Just like Nikhil, a few portfolios ago had that CSS library. This is very neat. I want to know more about this. As an employer, I don't have time to read about the entire thing. Could you give me a TLDR, or could you give me a YouTube demo, some sort of video demo? Could you give me some screenshots of the best tricks? Just something a little more abbreviated. Also, too, we talked about this with a lot of portfolios yesterday with the characters per line. There's probably over 130 per line right here, which is about double of what the accessibility gurus recommend. So to make that more accessible, I would definitely close up the characters per line, try and make it 50 to 60, 70 at most. But this is really neat, and there's a GitHub repo right there. This is something like with Nikhil's project. I would like to see more about your process. What inspired you to build this? This is a big deal. An artistic CSS library, anytime you're building some sort of library, that's when you're solving a problem that you encountered and you built something to solve it. And so wanting to hear more about that and hear more about your problem solving process. Same with these other ones. School free? What? No more school? Yes, I've been waiting for this one. A SaaS model-based software for school management in build phase. All right. So these two are in progress. Totally fine. But you're busy. You're a busy guy. So as soon as you get those cranked out, be sure to update this. Let's check out this Dev Index, a simple web app that indexes all developer resources in one place. So this is just... Okay, I'm seeing what this is. This is a kind of just a cheat sheet for your recommendations. So install the app. So this is, you built an app for this too. That's really cool. The Dev Index. I'm seeing YouTube channels for devs, and I'm not seeing my name on here, Hussein. You're killing me. Come on, you got to play to the judge. I was just about ready to sign off on this project, and I'm not seeing my name on here. Come on, you gotta show RealToughCandy some love. I'm just teasing. I would like to see my name on here to get an A grade. You gotta play to the judge. No, I'm kidding. So this is on Heroku. I thought this was on Heroku for some reason. This is on Netlify. Would explain the instantaneous or nearly instantaneous. What? It loaded a lot faster last time. But it still wasn't a big deal. It was just a little sluggish. Same thing with this. I would think this is a more prominent project. This project I'm more interested in because really, let's see what the features are of this. Unless I'm missing something. So first thing, let's see. Choose your dev desired resource below and note that the links are based on developer recommendations and they're not ranked in any order for now. I would say, finish out this app if it's completed, and I would say start for both of these, work on a narrative. What inspired you, why you did this, the outcome of it, and challenges and things of that nature, so I can get a better idea of what these things are. And as soon as you finish these, definitely just keep switching them out, keep upgrading and getting the live versions in there. And then the teaching what is one of the best ways to learn things deep and broaden up our knowledge is based on the concepts. As the genius once spotted that if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it enough. So I try to explain things in an analogical way, and my posts represent my current understanding of the concept. And as my understanding evolves, so will what I write be updated. Okay, so you write blogs at Hashnode. I would say try and make that more prominent, because this is in the last sentence here. And I thought, without even reading it, I'm like, okay, here's his Twitter handle. I didn't know you were on Hashnode. And again, as we've been discussing, having a blog or writing for any sort of publication is a big deal. It's always something to talk about and mention in these portfolios. Also, would love to see a contact form on this thing. But you've got a great start here. Especially this tie and dye. I'm a sucker for libraries and utilities and things of that nature, especially when junior developers do them. because they're not really taught in these online coding courses, and more often than not people are building them to solve a problem that they're having with their own code. And when they're using a tool that they created to create more efficient, manageable code, ooh, that's money. So thanks for your submission. You got a great start there. Moving on to the next one, number 52, BrandonLayton.com. What's Brendan up to? Brendan, not Brian. Sorry. Did I say Brian, Brandon, or Brendan? I meant Brendan. Brendan Layton. A self-driven full-stack web engineer bringing creativity, an innovative spirit, a passion for growth, and high personal standards. As a previous team lead for 4 years, I understand the value of a can-do attitude. Let's discuss what I can do for you. I like the attitude, and I like the fact that you referenced you're a team lead. So some of these words, when you're crafting your introduction for portfolios or for any piece of writing, try and find a word or two. Here's the thing. Some words are worth one word. Other words are worth like 20 words. And when I see this word, whether you want to call it 2 words or one, we'll just say this hyphenated item here, team lead. When I see team lead, I'm thinking of multiple things and multiple words. When I see team lead for 4 years, I'm thinking of even more things, and they're all positive. Because to be a team lead, you have to have certain characteristics, and you have to have these positive characteristics. You have to show up on time. You have to know, generally speaking, if you're a team lead, you have to know most, if not all, of the processes being completed by the people beneath you. You're the one responsible for, maybe not completely responsible, but responsible somewhat for mistakes when others make them. You're responsible for training a lot of times. There are just so many things you need to do as a team lead that, including this, it's a very powerful word. So good job putting that on there. And for 4 years, like, this isn't just something you did for 2 months and said, yeah, I'm not about the lifestyle. You were doing it for nearly half a decade. So that's a good positive signal. And whenever you can get these positive signals, get them in and get them in early. You did that within the first 20 seconds of me checking out this portfolio. So that's good. I'm compelled. I want to know more. And also too, when you use these types of words, you are building a trust factor with a stranger, which is a really hard thing to do. But it definitely instilled it's at this point it is superficial because I don't know you. But it is something. It is something. It's a feeling that is compelling me to read more about you and has piqued my interest, because this is not something that generally people talk about. Most people aren't team leads. So when you are, you want to use that power word. If you have a power word in your bio, you want to stick it in your bio as early as possible and use it as early as possible. So good job with that. Learn more or see my work. So I can see both of these links here in the lower left-hand side of my screen, in the lower left corner, which is great. So let's learn more. Let's see what's going on. Hey, I'm Brendan Layton, pronounced Brendan Layton. Nice. I live in northern New Hampshire, but I'm available and seeking remote work. Server-side features involving databases such as querying and routing are among my favorite to code. I think that stuff is super cool. I'm not looking for strictly back-end work, and I'm open to all offers. Given adequate time, I can learn and accomplish anything. Me focusing on the Zoom meeting, me checking my angle to make sure I'm still hot. When this photo, I think this photo was so funny. The meme captions here were really funny. It adds to the personality of this portfolio, and reminds me that this person is real, and this person has a bit of a sense of humor, which I myself appreciate. Technical experience, so a 3-column design here, good. Education, personal interests, just some extra information about you and what you do. So if we go to the projects, we have safe space. The ability to experience the world safely is not a luxury afforded to everyone. Members of the LGBT community rely on word of mouth to find businesses and resources to provide safe havens and community. One of the most frequent roadblocks is the decentralization of such information. Safe Space offers a unique platform that helps the LGBTQ community safely expand their orbit by connecting members with resources, businesses, and community. Now, I'm going to check out this site, and I'm very looking forward to it, very much looking forward to it, because this to me is an example of a real world project where Brandon solved a problem, or is attempting to solve a problem with code with this project. This is the type of project that gets employers interested. Outdoor adventure buddies. In these times, one thing remains clear. Let's back up here because I think I saw something that was not good. No, Brendan, no. The portfolio killer strikes again. Let's try this one more time. Heroku, come on now. No. All right, Brendan, you know what you gotta do. This is a make or break. You gotta get in there ASAP, check those logs, and fix it as soon as possible. I want to know about this project. I as an employer, I don't have time to come back and look at it, next week. I'm gonna be going on to the next applicant, and this is your front and center project. Ooh, please fix this as soon as possible. Outdoor adventure buddies. In these times, one thing remains clear. People want to get out and explore outdoors. Heck yeah. For these exact moments, we created Outdoor Adventure Buddies. Our app allows users to create an account, search for hiking trails, and find buddies to go hiking. Users can save trails to their bucket list and message new buddies for their future adventures. All right, cool. So you're describing what it does. I am curious, though, who's we? Like, what? Did you collaborate with someone on this project? If so, I'd be interested in learning a little more about that. What that entailed, who all you worked with, just to illustrate your team a little better, and how you went about finding that team, and what your responsibilities were for each person involved on the team. And a little drop down here, very convenient. That's nice. I like that. One thing I noticed too, there's a big bit of space right here. And I see why this is happening like this, or see why this was designed like this, because like pulling this down to the bottom, or at least down to where the view site and view code is, would completely wreck this photo, completely just stretch it out to being unrecognizable. And at the same time, I feel like there could be something down here, maybe like, I've seen this in other portfolios where they have some additional screenshots. It would be nice to see some more screenshots in like a gallery format where I could click, if you could just like make a row of them right here or something. Again, I don't like telling people how to do things with implementation, but I do think there needs to be something here to occupy the space. It just looks a little awkward, especially because these items down here kind of drag down the box. And so there's like this disproportionate weight and length over on the right compared to these smaller screenshots. So let's check this project out. Hopefully this one's online as well, or online. Okay, so this one's online, so good. Adventure wait, so a project that, okay, and these are the people who worked on the project. Yeah, I want to know who did what, how you found, what is the relationship, what is the professional relationship between these developers, who was the lead, who was responsible for what. And a COVID tracker. I think I just probably demonetized myself for saying the C word. What can you do? Biggest issue right now, absolutely, without a doubt, get this project online by any means necessary. Other than that, I thought one of the strongest things you did was just drop this team lead for 4 years. As a new developer, these things matter. Because new developers don't have experience in the industry, you have to supplement that with supporting things and things that represent web development and those responsibilities as much as possible. And anytime you can get an employee who's new, who already knows how to conduct themselves in a professional manner, that's a benefit. Let's face it, some applicants can't even show up on time and have a really bad attitude. Those people, they're not going to last, and human resources is not going to be very pleased. So the more you can convince someone that you're going to show up and do these things that are expected of you, just the better you are standing out against your competition. So thanks for the submission, Brendan. looking forward to getting that fixed and getting that back online. Number 53, unfortunately, I appreciate your submission, but because the URL was explicit, I cannot review it. My biggest recommendation, if you're looking for employment, would be to find a URL that is more appropriate for the workplace. And also, I did check out the project inside the portfolio. I would also consider changing that up as well if you're looking for a 9 to 5. Thanks for the submission, but again, unfortunately, because of the nature of it, I could not review it today. Let's go to number 54, davidkabina.com. This is a second Flutter developer we've had on this list. Flutter is a language that I have not messed around with. Dart and Flutter are foreign to me at this moment. I've seen a few snippets, but never really played around with it. So it's exciting to see Flutter devs because they are, to me, as a web developer, somewhat novel. So this is exciting to see a Flutter dev submit their stuff to me. So David, let's see what you're all about. I like this design, the left and white, or left and white, the darker and the lighter design, kind of like the yin and the yang with you in the center. I think the way this is organized is really well done. There is a lot of stuff on here, but it is so spaced out, and he created this like playing field where things are really nicely organized. And they have their little it's like a bento box. There's like these components where each thing's a little different. Like, okay, view portfolio, we have your email on the side, send me a message. Now, I don't know where this thing goes. I don't want it to open my email. So unfortunately, I'm not going to click that. If I could know where this would take me or have some sort of indication of what's going to happen, that would be a lot better, in my opinion. Not a make or break. Maybe just call me neurotic, but I just don't want to click things when I don't know what they're going to do. On the right here, we have an email address, which, now that you have davidkabina.com, why not do David at davidkabina.com or hire David at davidkabina.com? I think that would be much more authoritative. It's much more boss level than Gmail. Certainly, I know not everyone out there is able to afford custom domains, especially if you're looking for your first job. But if you are able to upgrade to a custom domain, do so. And if you are able to get that, when you are able to get that domain, get a custom email, because it just elevates you and your perceived authority. So let's go to the About Me here. I like this little, just these little tiny things, these numbers that segue in to different items. So David Kabina, I build things with Flutter. I'm a software engineer based in Ghana, specializing in building high quality mobile and web apps with a strong passion for open source work. My goal is to always build pixel perfect, high performant applications that provides users with a rich experience. Okay, we've been talking about these charts earlier. There are various ways that people use them, but this subjective analysis of the key topics and key technologies, which is totally fine. But again, if Flutter is your main thing at a 9.5, we need to see some killer Flutter. I'm going to expect some killer Flutter projects. So without further ado, let's check out this portfolio and see what's going on. Okay, this looks nice. This is a really nice layout. This is like a masonry effect. I'm a sucker for this type of layout where you have these different sizes, but they're kind of just like wedged up against each other, and it just completes itself in this harmonious way. This was very well done. And down here too, we have more and more. So how many projects do you have here? 3, 4, 5, 6, or 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what I'm going to say, David? You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say trim out a few of these. Take out your lowest priority projects. We did see a portfolio earlier where that person, he was a UX UI designer, and he had like 4 primary projects, and then he had an additional list where he was saying, okay, here's the other stuff I'm working on, not as VIP as my main projects, but here they are. Maybe something like that. And definitely with this layout, I just love this layout. But I would consider if we're going to assume this is your best project because people start reading left to right at the top, at least here in the States. So, and with English. So I'm going to assume that this is your best project. If this is your best project, I think it needs to be a little more prominent. So this one right here, this foodie bite, is a huge piece in this grid, right? Could you sub out this project, your best project, and put it in a size like this so that the importance of the project matches the size on the screen? Does that make sense? Because if this is your best project, it's a little minimized. Even though it's making this masonry grid just go together perfectly, if you could reorganize this somehow and just ensure that your top project, the best one you have, is the biggest one right here on top, I think that would be an improvement. But let's check this one out. Onboarding app, an onboarding experience app. So there's a fade in, a description of the project, built with Flutter, awesome. And then the GitHub link right here. Although I'm not seeing anywhere on the screen where that's going to bring me to GitHub. So I'm not going to click on that. Again, I just don't like clicking on things when I don't know what they're going to do. I'm presuming it's going to take me to GitHub, but I have no way of knowing because the URL down on the left isn't popping up. Now, because this is an application, obviously, I'm not going to be able, this is like an iOS app, I'm not going to be able to use it on desktop. So that's why the GitHub link is even more important. So I would say even too, we have some white space here. What about some screenshots from the app? Some features, some challenges, just something more to illustrate. I would like to see more features in picture format. I think it would be really helpful. You said it's an elegant onboarding experience. Show me some of that elegance. Show me that elegance in these photos, in this area right here. There's also an arrow, but I'm clicking it and nothing's happening. So I might want to address that as well. This is a smaller issue, but something that needs to be addressed as well because you are so focused. I can tell these are beautiful apps with presumably great user experiences. So you want these components here on your site to match that experience as well. We want to maintain that consistency. Let's check out this one. OTP text field, a use for Flutter package for helping with OTP. Again, I love the fade in. So there's a demo of this right here. But there's no URL popping up, so I'm not knowing where that's going to take me. Should I just go for it, developers? should I just take one for the team and click? I'm gonna. There we go. So it took me to pub.dev, but I think too really important to get those URLs somewhere displayed on the screen so I know where I'm going. This is pub.dev, and this is showing me how to install it. Here's the verification, some screenshots and attributes. Very cool. This looks like you took a lot of time to show some usage, how to use the thing, how to install it, some features, and plus 84% popularity. That sounds like a good thing, right? 9 likes. Here's the metadata, the changelog, different things here, and some scores with that. So cool. Just trying to get some more information in this blank space. You have the real estate for it, so you want to leverage that, and the links, and fixing this and this email. This is going to go somewhere. I don't know where to. If I hit contact, no, don't open the mail app. We want a contact form. Resume, certifications. I think there are a few tweaks here that I think this portfolio can really benefit from. And after that, I mean, you're most of the way there with this layout is really great. But just bringing those projects, showing me the importance of those projects and exhibiting them. These are just very beautiful mobile app screenshots. And I think just a little bit more focus on showing your visitors, your employers, what you're doing with these in a one-stop format down here. There's lots of real estate. You can really even bring this to the next level. So thanks, David, for your submission. Good, clean, nice looking portfolio there. Number 55. This is going to be our last portfolio we do today, developers. AlinClemente.tk. Let's open this one up and see what it's all about. Or should we do Anthony's too? Let's crank out 2 more. We'll do Alan's and then Anthony's as well. Actually, did I look at this one yet? No, I have not. I have not previewed that one. So we'll do this one and we'll wrap it up. So this is Alin Clemente's full stack web developer with Python and JavaScript. Contact me. Why? I need to know where I'm going. Contact me, projects and skills, and the introduction, and a contact form. Okay, so this is presumably going to bring me down to here. I'm just going to take one for the team. Okay, so that brings me down there. I don't know why that doesn't just show. It's going to scroll down because normally it'll pop up. Something, just a small tweak maybe to look at. So projects and skills, and then your introduction. So the organization of this is a little unconventional. I would like to get to know you a little bit before diving into your work. Just for the sake of organization and keeping things logical. Like, if this were to simulate a real life situation, you wouldn't come up to someone and say, I do Python, pandas, and data visualization, and here's my SPA Firebase, my single page app Firebase app. You'd first, introduce yourself and say, "Hi, I'm Alin. I'm a technical person. I do web development. I do software development. Some of my skills include." So you want to simulate that, and I would recommend pulling this up, changing this order, and introducing yourself, because that way people are also going to have the opportunity to get that resume, peep the resume. You may want to change the wording here so you're not showing people that you're forcing them to download something. Maybe view resume, view CV, or check out my CV, something like that. Great that you have a little contact form here. This is all you really need. I know some people sometimes over-engineer contact forms, but for this purpose, I think this is just fine. Email and message. Maybe if you wanted to, put a name in box right here, but people can sign off using their name anyway. So I would pull that up here. The other thing I would do with the project side is, now this is a lot of great information here, right? Like all your skills. Obviously, people want to know that. This is important stuff. But on the project side, it's almost like your projects are competing with your skills. So I'm not sure how I feel about projects and skills being in the same area. Yes, it is 2 columns, but I feel like, because the projects are the heart and soul of a junior developer portfolio, you don't want those to compete with the skills. And also, too, these are big time skills, and you want people to focus on those as well. I would consider making 2 separate areas, like you were doing up here. Like, here's this landing image. Then we go to this section. I would say just put one or the other in this section. And then down here, pull this back up before the projects and skills and make these individual so they're not competing. The other thing I would do is put some images in here somewhere. Maybe some... Okay, so you have the tags, which is basically the technologies used. Let's check out the projects here. So this is SPA Firebase, a single page application made with JavaScript and Firebase. So what actually is the project though? So let's see. I would like to know what this is before clicking on it. And so this one is Flask Web GUI. Sorry, I was gonna say Flask Web GUI, the easiest way to convert a Python, Flask, and Django website to a desktop application. This technology was used. See project. Open this one up. Okay, and this goes to the repo. So a little semantic tweaking needed here, because this is actually going to a repo. And I could have looked down to see that it was going to GitHub, but I guess I at the time I didn't put two and two together. So the wording, I would change this to GitHub, and if possible, have some images here and some more. I would like to see more description of what this single page app actually is for and what it does. Down here, you have some pretty good descriptions. Helps distributing Python applications on computers without Python installed. Okay, that's pretty cool. So that's a neat project. This is on GitHub as well. And you have some README info here. Is it possible to have some screenshots and just kind of like a TLDR, like we were talking about earlier, way earlier in the stream? People have, these libraries and stuff that they built, which are big deals. These are big, great projects. But show me in a TLDR features, benefits, challenges even, and how you overcame those. Stuff like that with screenshots, so you can really start illustrating. Because there's no doubt you took a lot of time to develop some of these projects, right? Now, as someone just going over it, as a developer, I know these took time to build, but as someone just visiting the site, I'm reading a sentence and going to a GitHub repo. So I'm looking for a more robust experience on the user end to see, what kind of heart and soul had to go into this application, and what are some benefits of this product? What are some features? What was your problem solving process? What was your process like? Definitely fixes that aren't, they're not going to take forever, but they are very important. So you do want to take some time to craft these projects. And a lot of it is the challenge of marketing yourself. And that is such an awkward thing. Like, sell yourself, like sell myself. That's weird. So I know how, and it's not like our main goal, or it's not our main task as web developers, right? Like, we're here to build beautiful web apps. That's what we do. And even people outside web development, if you're doing desktop stuff, we've had some people outside of web development submit portfolios, whatever type of technology you're doing. Normally, it doesn't involve a whole bunch of marketing to strangers. Like, that's what marketers are for. Now, some front-end developer roles will have you do a little bit of marketing, but this is like marketing, like selling yourself. This is sales. It's a hard thing. So I totally get it. But it is important to sell yourself, sell your skills, and sell your projects. And I think with the little tweaks, you're definitely on the right track. And with the little tweaking here in this area, making it more prominent, and just emphasizing what you did on these projects is going to be really powerful. And also putting your strongest project first. You always want to put, no matter how you end up doing these layouts, you want to put your strongest project first. All right, so that was how many did we bang out today? We went through quite a few. That was number 55, Alin's. Tomorrow, for the final day of Portfoliocon 2021, we're going to pick it up with Anthony's. We are going to go with Anthony's, and then we are going to go down to Joshua's. Now, there was someone on YouTube who apparently posted their portfolio. The deadline was January 7th. I know some people are trying to get theirs reviewed, but I cannot take on any more portfolios. The deadline was on the 7th. And that person, if you submitted before the 7th, go ahead and, like I said, but maybe I mentioned this before, but shoot me an email so I can get you on the list for tomorrow. So we might have exactly 70 in total on this list. But thank you, developers, for submitting these. So tomorrow, we are going to start at 10:30 tomorrow. No, we're not. I take it back. There is still an event I may have to go to tomorrow. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to do the setup for the live stream tomorrow, and that's going to be in a few hours. You will know for sure what time it's going to start tomorrow. It's either going to be 10:30 CST or noon CST. It's going to be one of those two times due to this event that may or may not happen in my life tomorrow that unfortunately was sort of a last minute thing that I have to tend to. But we're still going to do it nonetheless. And there's always the playback. So hopefully you can make it either way. Again, I'm going to be setting that live stream up in a few hours. It's going to be tonight sometime CST, so you'll know for sure when tomorrow that's going to be. Let's go to some of these comments. There's just so much to go through today that I don't really have time to go through the comments, but let's see who all is in attendance. For those of you who were here today and you enjoyed the live stream, do me one final favor. Hit that like button. Please show YouTube that we are good to go with this. Let's see. Richard, me, 123, what's up? Dylan, Paradoodly. Thanks, everyone. There are just a lot of people who joined today. Lorelei Palmer. Let's see. Lots of new people I've never seen. Awesome. Lots of great comments here. I'm going to go through these later. For those of you who maybe want to check it out on the replay, we're going to have some timestamps. Thanks, Paradoodly Do, for holding it down. I see we have a new member here. Who's the new member? It says new member, but it's not popping up in my screen. Darn it. Anywho's, I will see you cool cats and guys and dolls tomorrow, 10:30 or noon CST. We're going to bang out the rest of these portfolios. Again, $9.99 special Udemy sale for portfolio surgery in the description box. That course is on sale until tomorrow after the stream. After that is completely back to the normal price. Wanted to give you guys an opportunity to check out that course. All right, developers, thank you so much for tuning in. Take it easy,